Hello, hello. On today's show, I'm going to get into some scary movies. Pat says he has a terrific ending to two campaigns to report on. And Mike was hoping he'd have a deep review for you, but it turns out it's surface level. Welcome to your favorite live streaming whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space by Xcellar Comics. I am your favorite couch critic, kind of like a couch potato, but I'm a couch critic, Kevin. And we've got a full house today, which is awesome. First up is Mike.
Sorry. Good morning. Hey, I was doodling.
Good morning. Stop doodling during class.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Patrick's here. Right here, Patrick.
That's doodling too.
Hopefully, maybe I'm here. Hello.
Hello. Good morning. And then, last but not least,
Morning.
We are blessed with the awesome background production of Karen. Sorry, Pat. I tried to get the inflection right on that because I could see where you were going with it, but I hope I did a little bit of justice, but I feel like I butchered it.
That's all right. It's good.
It really works in print.
It does. Yeah, it does. All right. Anyway, hey, Mike, I knew as soon as the show started that there would be something in pre-planning that I wanted to discuss that we failed to. So I'm going to take the hit on that. But I want to ask you, because I'm hoping the answer is yes. Do you have a picture of that cool thing that you showed me and Pat yesterday?
No.
Daggumit.
I mean, not on here. I have it on here.
You have it right there? Well, let's see. Can we see it here? Did you want to?
How about I can upload it?
Okay. Did you want to do that? I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I know I'm putting you on the spot because it's during the show. Sorry. Did you even want to show that on the show? Because I wanted to show it on the show. Didn't you want to see it on the show, Pat?
I'm not sure what you want to show on the show to see what's on the show. So
the thing he showed us yesterday that he said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me a minute. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
All right, I have this to say, okay?
Yes.
How many?
So first of all, you can see in the title already what I'm reviewing today. I can't remember whether I mentioned it on the show or in private conversation between you two last week anyway. I'm reviewing Nosferatu today, okay? Which I thought there's another thing which I'll keep as a spoiler. Stay tuned. That's also kind of related to Nosferatu that is a part of my content today. And then I totally assumed Mike's plan was to show what he showed us yesterday on the show today. And I'm like, man, what is happening? Our show's becoming like a horror film fest, you know? It is totally a horror fest, which is not typical, especially with me around, you know?
Right.
So anyway, I noticed that coincidence. Mike, did that buy you a minute? Mike, did that buy you a minute?
Yeah, it's just I'm showing my age here. Downloaded the picture twice. Whoops.
You purposely downloaded it twice?
No, I downloaded it yesterday, and then just now I was like, where'd that picture go? So I downloaded it again, and that's how I saw it, was side by side.
And I sure hope everybody loves this as much as I'm hoping they will based on what we're putting through. Sorry, Mike. I'm taking the full blame for this. Not that I don't.
No, it's all good. I love it. I think it's
All
awesome.
right, we good?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Okay. So a little background here. This is a commission done by Rich Woodall. And I asked him if he could do Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein on Frankenstein #1. And wow, did he knock it out of the park. So it'll be in the mail Monday. I can't wait to get it.
That thing is awesome.
It really is.
Didn't you say it was originally just supposed to be black and white and just Frankenstein or something, or just the three characters, right?
Just 3 characters, black and white. Yeah, and he hooked me up by adding Wolfman and then Dracula's eyes back there and colored it. And
Why'd he do that?
because he enjoyed doing it so much.
Oh, really? I thought you said he was kind of doing
yeah.
it as a little bit of compensation because it was running a little long.
Yeah, but some of it's my
Oh, some of it's yours. Okay.
So it was just it was really unexpected. I think he did a great job with Abbott.
That is.
Holy
That
cow.
is. Yeah, that is really great. All right, cool. The only reason I wanted to kind of mention the delay and the hookup, because man, that is definitely Xcellar's policy too. With everything we've done when we have made mistakes in the past, you overdo the compensation when you make a mistake. It's like at McDonald's when they screw up your order, they throw in a fries. Same kind of thing that Xcellar does.
Well, I think Rich threw in like a whole Big Mac too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Here's a Big Mac and a Happy Meal.
Yeah. So yeah, I just love that aspect of your story as well. That whenever errors happen or whenever anything delays, whatever, the people are going above and beyond to make sure that the experience is overall positive. I love that because that's always been Xcellar's policy. So take note if you ever buy anything from us, don't try to cause problems to get extra stuff. But if we ever have a snafu, you're good to go.
Yeah, this whole thing started in September. I was supposed to ship the book to him in September. I didn't get around to shipping it to him until January. Did I see December? It was supposed to be September. And then he said, I should have it to you before Christmas. And I shipped it to him in January.
Well, it's because the holidays were delaying you in every way, shape, and form.
I would like to use that excuse, but actually I had it in a Gemini mailer, and I hadn't reordered Gemini mailers for Xcellar, and we had a shipment that had to go out, and I only had one Gemini mailer, and it contained my Frankenstein book. So I unpacked it, set it aside, shipped that book off in that Gemini mailer, and had to wait for Geminis to ship that Frankenstein.
Oh man, now I feel bad.
No, that wasn't the whole stretch. That was just one of the little obstacles.
One of the reasons. Gotcha. Yeah.
And then it's getting time to stop at the post office. And yeah, it was just every excuse under the sun. And then, of course, he gets it. And we start rolling into convention, some smaller conventions. And he's doing those. So he's got convention sketches going on, which I totally get. That's like important right here, right now money and all that. So it was I delayed as well, so it was really, I'm really happy with it. So,
well, that's an awesome story, and I like to hear stories like that explained. At least I don't like when I'm the one saying them because I feel like I'm saying them too often. But whenever you say I'll get around to it in 3 months, and then people's response are kind of like, man, it'll only take you 15, 20 minutes. How can you not find the time for that in 20 minutes? Well, it's not just one thing that becomes a hiccup. It's thing after thing after thing after thing, so.
Yeah, it's like if you only saw the list that's in my head of things that need done.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's one of many.
Yes.
But yeah, if anybody's looking for a really great commission, Rich Woodall is fantastic. And he's a nice guy. I can't wait. I'll see him in Baltimore. Get a picture with both of us in this cover.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll probably talk about some future commissions. I just really like his art style, and he's a really good guy too. So,
yeah, awesome.
There you go.
And isn't his name Richard Raymond Woodall?
I think so. I think that was the funny thing when we talked to him. Yeah, you said.
Yeah. All right, cool then. Okay, that's enough of the fluff. I think I'm up first. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, well, I did not watch Nosferatu, so I'm kind of
Okay, go.
disappointed in myself.
Did you rewatch, Pat?
No, I didn't get a chance to rewatch it.
Well, we'll be able to roll a little bit, but we got a couple other little ones to get to before that, of course. So here we go. All right, first up for me, I said a couple little ones. These aren't very little though, but I'll make them quick. Is I watched Three Body Problem on Netflix. This actually came out, I think, exactly a year ago. I think it dropped the end of March a year ago. I finally got around to watching. I actually tried to watch the first episode when it came out a year ago because I think Tyler and Maddie were really watching it. And they were saying they were liking it, so it made me check it out, but then I just got away. You know how it works. Have either of you seen this one?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so
It's like I don't even have Netflix.
well, when you do nothing but consume sci-fi and superheroes, your Netflix account or your Netflix recommends will hook you up. But anyway, this is a sci-fi show, and first of all, I know you guys obviously already told me that you've never heard of this show in particular, but have you ever heard of the term three body problem?
No.
All right, so this is a scientific term. I'm going to try to sound smart.
Did you hear of it before this?
Did I hear of it before this?
Yeah.
That's a great question because the answer is yes, and it was so weird. And I'm sure it isn't actually that weird, but at the time I assumed it was weird because I didn't know this was out yet. So here's the series of events. This came out, so then I got some weird TikTok shorts or something about the 3D body problem. And then Tyler told me he was watching the show called Three Body Problem. I was like, hey, I just learned about the three body problem. And then I watched the show. So anyway, so the three body problem, again, I'm trying to sound smart. If I butcher any of this, just go ahead and call me out in the comments, okay? So the three body problem is scientific. And basically what it is it's a physics equation that they haven't solved yet, okay? And basically, the idea is, you know how you have bodies, planetary bodies in space that all are on a, whatchamacallit, when
Orbit.
you go...
Gravitational orbit.
An orbit. Okay, so they're all in orbits, right?
Right.
Well, in physics, they can explain to you to the T, no matter when you choose to pick it, where a celestial body will be at any certain point in time based on other orbiting bodies, okay? Mm-hmm. But there's a weird thing with the three body problem, or the weird thing that creates the three body problem is when you have three bodies that affect each other's orbit, randomly, I guess, an unknown, something becomes unpredictable. Okay. So they could say like, okay, for the next 5 years, or they could say forever, the moon is going to be here, the sun is going to be here, and the earth is going to be here affecting each other's orbits. But there's always a point that it changes just ever so slightly. And they can't figure out what that is. Okay.
That sounds like a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's the three body problem. Okay. So there you go. Science people, correct me, please. I know I probably butchered that, and anybody with a degree in physics is pulling their hair out saying this guy's an idiot, whatever. But anyway, that's the idea. Okay.
Well, you explained it in a way that it makes sense to me. Not I can't solve the problem, but I understand the problem.
You understand the problem exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, then it's so crazy to me that this show is called Three Body Problem, because I feel like the three body problem is such a minimal part of this show. So anyway, what's happening in this show is there's a video game device that is delivered mysteriously to these geniuses, okay? And they go into this video game, and it's like the dream video game that, gamers hope to have in the future, where you put this headset on and it's like you're there, kind of thing. I know that's a catch-22. I'd love to have video games like that. It's just obviously scary. It's like where that ends up. But anyway, that's what happens in this show. So basically, and this is season 1, FYI, because I guess season 2 is a definite. It's coming. Thank God, with what I'm going to tell you at the end here. But basically, the three body problem comes in just kind of metaphorically, as we discover that aliens have sent these video game headsets to these geniuses to solve essentially the three body problem. But they're not really solving the three body problem. What they're solving is their problem that they're having on their planet to save themselves from extinction. Okay.
Mhm.
So eventually, so they go in and they solve these. They all have different experiences of video games. Like, one is a girl that like is experiencing Asia and samurais and stuff like that, and another one's a British guy that has experienced like old medieval knights. So the video game will kind of assimilate it to you personally. To have you solve this. And then, of course, one or two of them, there's actually five main players in the genius scientist group that are involved in all this. I think only actually 4 of them have the headset, though. I think one of them doesn't get it for some reason. There's also a murder involved in this that
Jeez.
of course involves the cops that they're investigating this whole thing. And this is super uber complex sci-fi entertainment. Okay. So anyway, like I said, the three body problem is kind of metaphorical anyway. So after they go through all the levels of the video game and they discover essentially like I said, the three body problem is unsolvable, then these aliens basically are like, okay, cool. We knew it was unsolvable too. So what's the solution? It's like, you just have to leave your planet. And they're like, okay, cool. That's what we wanted you to understand anyway, that we're leaving our planet and we're heading to you because we need to help you. Because that's the other thing too. There's lots of flashbacks in this too. There's also another story of this lady in the past. That's what the satellite is on the poster here. It's one of those sending messages out in space, hoping it reaches ET,
Yeah.
and when it does, when it reaches ET, you worry whether it's going to be a nice response or, you've basically called yourself out and they want to call and kill you, that age-old problem, So this lady's communicating with aliens and they say, hey, you need to stop communicating with us or we're going to come kill you. And she's like, you know what? Humans are screwing this planet up anyway. Come kill us, basically. But she doesn't actually believe they're going to kill her. Her plan, in the craziness of the genius that she is that as they come there, they're going to help us. That's her plan. It's
that always happens. Someone's coming to kill you, and they say, you know what? We'll help you.
Right. So literally, this first season takes place between like World War I and now. and it jumps back and forth between multiple people. Like I said, this is extremely complex show. So anyway, this is where it gets even crazier, if you can imagine. So word gets out that these aliens are coming and they're among us. So now the aliens start to have these followers. Okay. So these followers are looking at these aliens like gods and they start to worship them. So it creates a cult. So now the CIA and the, whatever the British equivalent of CIA or whatever, get all involved in this because these people are nuts and they're doing nefarious things for the alien because the aliens can communicate with these cult members, kind of like they've essentially been communicating through the video game headsets. So now the government, of course, the know all be all of everything is like, hey, you can't be talking to these people. Only we, how the government is, only we're worthy.
Just us.
You can't be talking to aliens. So now it becomes this whole espionage thing too, with the feds involved trying to stop this cult. So throw that into the mix. Okay. So you got the whole video game thing happening. You got going back in time about the communicating with the aliens happening, while you've also got now the feds searching. Well, the cops are searching down murder situations and the feds are searching down this cult. I'm telling you, if I haven't said this enough yet, this is a super complex, many different avenues sci-fi movie. So anyway, they deal with that. And then to end the show, and this is where my problem is, okay? To end this show, they know exactly when the aliens are coming. They're going to be here in 400 years, Mike.
Go about my business. Don't
exactly care. Right. That's what's crazy about it. Now you've got to make. They know they're coming, and they know they're coming to kill us. So now we need to make a plan to stop them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other kind of crazy thing about this is they know that this alien race is superiorly advanced to them or us. But they think about it, and actually the aliens pointed out in a weird way. But the aliens realize by the time they get there, the humans, we have evolved so dramatically in the last 100 years that in the next 400 years we're going to be a completely different race of beings as well, as far as our abilities and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So they actually are now using their abilities that they have on Earth to manipulate people that will affect the future positively for humans to be able to kill them once they get here. They essentially have to stop any technical advancements in the next 400 years until they get here. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know I know what you're thinking, Pat. These people are so advanced, they don't have like warp speed, or they can't just phase here or something like that. Well, the explanation they have for that, which I've said a bunch of times, I love explanations. The explanation they have for that is they're actually bringing their whole society and every single ship they have. Like they're abandoned their planet, and they've got like an armada of ships and their entire population. And since they have so much like that, they can't travel it quickly. That's why it's taking 400 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And anybody with a family of, 4, 5, 6, 8, they know how hard it is just to load up the car and go, cross state lines to like family or something.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
All right, it's Bridget's got a question. Why would you announce it? Why would you tell your opponent you're coming? So it's Bridget. It's complicated. It's Bridget. Basically, what's happening is they didn't really just say, "Hey, we're coming to kill you." First of all, it was to the Asian lady in the past. They were like, "Hey, stop communicating with us. We're coming to kill you, or we're coming to kill you." But she ignores that and keeps communicating with me. So it's assumed, okay, they're coming to kill you. And then the cult members that are talking to them they mess up. They say something that the aliens don't like. So the aliens tell them, "Oh wow, we thought we could work with you once we get there." It's one of those situations where once they get here, they were planning on embracing the cult members and saying, "Hey, you're with us. When we get there, you'll be on our side and we'll kill everybody else." So the cult members are basically it's almost, this is a little bit sacrilegious in the way that it's really kind of comparable to God, that, you know, if you worship God, you know, believe in Jesus, go to heaven, whatever, pick a religion, you know, that's kind of involved with this too, with this alien race. They actually call the alien they're talking to Lord, and they say, as long as you believe in the Lord, you know, everything will work out. They'll protect you, and when they get here, they'll be on our side, right? Well, then they find out something about humans they don't like, so they're like, "Hey, we're done with you. We're done protecting you. We obviously cannot work with you." So it's essentially because of the events that we know they're coming to kill us. They didn't actually say, "Hey, we're coming to kill you." First, it was a threat that someone didn't listen to, and then secondly, it was kind of an assumed consequence of something the humans did. And I want to explain that. And there's some crazy awesomeness in all this complexity, okay? But the end is so freaking frustrating, okay? There's two major things that happen at the end that are totally two new things, that one of them fails miserably, one of them's confusing as hell, and then the show just ends. Okay? So our plan as humans, just to let you know, this one ending, that our plan as humans is to go out and meet them halfway. Okay, and then we're going to learn. That's going to teach us more about them to defeat them, because we don't know anything about them, but they know everything about us. And essentially, they have it. Every space on Earth is bugged too. There's no secret place to have, like, literally not one. They're even watching you take a shower. Okay. So there's nowhere to hide, nowhere to discuss plans. So they come up with a secret plan to send someone to meet them halfway to get information. And then when they get back, they trust this someone that he's going to give us the information when they get, like he's going to pretend to be a spy. And then when he gets down here, he's going to help us. Okay. But Pat, we don't have that kind of technology. How are we going to do that now? Okay. Well, we figure out something. Make space like the speed of light. But the only way we can do it is with this guy's head. Okay. So literally they decapitate this guy and put it in a capsule, and they use nuclear weapons to explode through space to project, or to shoot this projectile towards where they know the aliens are coming from. That sounds like a perfect plan, doesn't it, Mike? You don't even understand what I just said, do you, Mike?
No.
Exactly.
No. I do want to watch this.
Well, anyway, the very last episode, that plan fails. So we're literally going into the next season knowing zippy, except the aliens are coming in 400 years. I don't know how they're going to do it. So, okay, that's there's still, believe it or not, there's still a lot of details in this I didn't get to. I'm going to just move along though.
I don't believe it.
Hey, you believe it? Okay. It's Bridget's got another comment though. I did watch it. 100% pretend you're a benevolent species, or don't give a time frame as to when you'll be there. I agree with the ending being frustrating, but it's realistic to space science. Well, that's good to hear. It's Bridget. Hey, it's Bridget. Did you hear my explanation of the scientific three-body problem? How'd that go? Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, that was something.
Anyway, this was a lot of fun. But you know me, I'm an ending guy. That really matters a lot. I would literally, if this ending would have hit, I would have probably given this like a 9. But since the ending didn't hit, I'm dropping it to 7.5. So it's still really, really good. This is a ride. This is a ride. And I recommend binging this. Just wake up one Saturday with no plans, grab a lot of food and drinks, and just watch this whole thing. It's crazy.
But it's like you said, it's season one. So
Right.
let's say season 2 kicks off real strong and kind of justifies that season 1 ending. You could revisit this and bump this up to a 9. Maybe.
I guess that's definitely possible, but I've come up with the conclusion, and personally myself, is this just frustrates me so much. I mean, shows can be tiring, and here's the problem with that, in my opinion. When you're in mode, we've all been there, obviously. When you're feeling a binge, it's awesome, right?
Mhm.
But with life, so much, obviously life consumes your life so much, things consume your life so much. It's much, much easier to get sidetracked from a season of shows and never return to it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I think, in conclusion for myself, that these drive me nuts. Because I just need more conclusion in a smaller consumption, consumption of my life. Yeah.
So last night we were looking for something to watch, and so pull up on I think it's on Prime or one of the things. It has the continue watching thing, and there's just this long thing, and Corey goes,
Yeah.
"Why don't you just finish something?"
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't. Some of these I can't.
Yeah, and that's what makes it worse. I'm sure this is what you're thinking too, that when you go back to watching something, sometimes you have to rewatch it anyway because you forgot, especially if it's something as complex as Three Body Problem. There was no way in heck I was starting this on episode 2. I had to rewatch episode 1. So I think this is 8 episodes. So I essentially had to watch not 10 episodes. I watched episode 1 twice, But
if you
anyway.
really want to be angry at an ending, watch Juror number 2 or Juror 2 or whatever it's called.
Okay.
That ending will just put you through the
Juror 2. Hey, did our boy the Gladiator, Russell Crowe, help your wife get you to Craven, or help you get your wife to Craven?
No.
Oh, did you even mention that? Did you forget?
Well, I did forget. You asked me a yes and no question. You asked me 2 yes and no questions in one.
Sorry.
And the answer is no and yes, or
Okay.
yes and no, or whatever.
Well, I really want you guys to see Rhino, and I want you to watch the movie to be able to appreciate Rhino once you get there. So I'm really curious. So please, you guys get to Rhino.
All right.
Okay, Pat, you didn't get to it yet either.
No.
Do you even care about getting to Craven?
Not really.
Doesn't what I've said about Rhino help you a little bit, though?
No, because I've seen pictures of them.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that sucks. All right, cool. But anyway, Three Body Problem on Netflix. Definitely check it out. I don't know when season 2 is coming, but it actually ends it by saying it's for sure season 2 is definitely coming. Yada yada. So anyway,
400 years.
all right. I'd like to say that my next movie / show is not complex, but man, I just went from one complex, super sci-fi complex show to another extremely super sci-fi complex show in Severance on Apple TV Plus. Are either of you familiar with this one?
I'm familiar, but I don't have Apple TV. I'd really like to catch this. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, this is on our list. And like, yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, do you want to watch this? Like, I really don't want to think right now. So, but I have heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's well, I won't spoil my review, but season 2 just dropped. That's what kind of prompted me to finally get around with this. This has been on my watch list for a very long time. And season 2 just dropped recently, so I'm like, okay, I guess I got to watch season 1, kind of like Daredevil with Mike. So I was able to watch the entire season 1 of Severance, and yeah, I'd agree with the critics. This is really good stuff, but it is complex. So basically, what's happening here is What do you think about when you think about Severance, Mike?
The show?
No, the word.
Oh, it's what you get when after you leave a job after they get rid of you or something.
Exactly. That has nothing to do with this here. So don't think about that word meaning this here at all. Okay. What this has to do with in the future, well, it might be happening now. I don't really think this kind of gives you any time frame. But we have this one corporation has this technology to sever you from your work person to your home person. And you know how we've said this. I think, Mike, you actually sent me a post yesterday. It's like you don't bring your work home with you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And of course your boss is always like, hey, don't bring your home problem, your family problems to work with you. You know, they keep these things separate, right? That's the dream of every employee and manager, right? To keep these things separate, right? Well, there's a corporation, whenever this time period happens, they've figured a way to make that scientifically, biologically possible. Okay. They sever you in your brain to where you go to work, but you don't remember or literally know anything about it once you get out of work. And while you're at work, you literally don't know anything about your home life. You don't remember anything about it at all. Okay. What do you think of that so far, Pat?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's very interesting, right?
Yeah,
You can imagine the complexities that would come from that.
sure.
It's like, do I have kids? You're at work talking to your friends. Do I have kids? Do I have a wife? What am I like out there? What do I do at night? You know, that kind of thing. And of
Or
course,
when you leave work, you're like, oh, everything, your home stuff piles up. You're like, holy cow, I have all this stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, when you're out in the real, when you're living your home life, you're like, I don't even know what I do at work. You know, people are like, what do you do at work? I don't know. I work at Loomis. Loomis is the corporation in question here. So people are like, I work at Loomis. They're like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I go to that building, and the way they work is they have an elevator you hop on, and when you get down to your works, you know, when your elevator takes you down to whatever floor you work on, and in the midst of the elevator trip is when they actually do a surgical procedure to you when you get hired, where they implant something in your head to where when you travel on this elevator from arriving to the building to your floor, your brain does the switch, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, you can imagine all kinds of problems here. That's why this show is so complex, so confusing. But again, just like Three Body Problem, very excellently done. And how this kind of starts is one of the, people start to become really curious. One of the guys, what's this? Do you remember this guy, or do you know this guy's name, Pat? Not remember. What's the actor's name? What is it again?
Adam Scott.
Yeah, what's he from?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Rec. That's
other
it.
things, yeah.
Adam Scott, he's a 2 first name kind of guy.
Yeah. So him and his best friend from work are talking about, hey, what's going on out in the real world so much. And then there is a group of people that thinks severing people is inhumane. So, of course, that's another thing that's happening in the real world. The government or the corporation and protesters trying to get the government to stop severing people. They think this is inhumane and horrible for people, right?
Is it specific to this one company, or is it like, okay.
Yeah. Just this one company has that ability at this point, as far as I know,
But people, there's no reason to protest because people have free choice. So they can, if you work here, this is what we do. If you don't want to go through that, then you don't work here. The story.
The problem is, I agree with that 100%. But the problem is, nobody knows what they're doing to them in there. So they basically agree to something they have no information about. They just agree to forget it. So rumors start that, the horrific things that are happening in there, from the simplest thing that they could be breaking labor laws to horrific things like they could be using you as, in nefarious deeds. You could be going to work and being an assassin, hypothetically.
You can be working on bringing back a dire wolf, right?
Whatever, yeah. Nobody knows what they're doing, so.
Okay, well that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that's what the protesters are about, because that's the other thing too, is these protesters have family that work for Loomis.
Uh-huh.
So when they come home, things will happen. I won't even get into that, but things will happen to them that then they're like, what are they doing down there? And they're like, I don't know. And they're like, that's messed up. This is horrible, and then yada, yada. Right. So anyway, one of these protesters figures out how to break the severed thing. Right. And it's actually Mr. Scott's best friend. So he's actually to be able to become unsevered with the help of the leaders of the protest in the real world.
I see.
So then he approaches him in the real world and is like, hey, dude, Loomis is messed up. Let me tell you about it. And what do you think Mr. Scott says, Pat?
I imagine he doesn't believe him because he doesn't know anything about what's happening.
Yeah, exactly, Pat. Good job. He doesn't even know him. He's like, who are you?
I don't even know you.
Dude's like, I'm your best friend at work. We've been friends for 10 years. You know everything about me. You're my buddy. Just trust me, and it's crazy. So then he starts to deal with the complexity of everything this strange guy he didn't know 10 minutes ago is telling him. And now he has questions.
Yeah.
So then enter this lady that she agrees to the job. She gets severed, but on day one, she hates the job and she's a B. She is not taking any of this. She is F you to everybody. This is for adults too. This is not a kid's show. Okay. But this lady hates it on day one. So now she just wants to be unsevered. She's just saying, I want to be unsevered. And the way you have to be unsevered legitimately through Loomis is to apply a resignation to yourself in the real world. Okay? So this girl hates her job so much, she applies for resignation to herself, but then herself tells her, no, you can't resign. You got to keep going to work. Because this is a sweet deal, for the outside people. They're just living life and making money. Imagine you're in the outside world. You can't remember everything about work. You're just receiving a paycheck. You don't even, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So these are just few of the complexities and complications of this show.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, for the whole first season, they're delivering a new one to you every single episode. It's amazing, and the finale nails it so hard, in my opinion. I actually started to watch episode 2 or season 2. I think I'm into episode 2 of season 2. But the ending of this just is crazy. The buildup is awesome. The ending is nuts. And like I said, every single episode, a new thing happens that makes you think, oh man, yeah, of course. That's crazy, right? It becomes so obvious in hindsight, why didn't I? So did you see who's producing this too, directing and producing?
Yeah, Ben Stiller. That's cool.
Yeah. This is genius. This has a bunch of people, I'm bad with names, of course. Yeah. I can't remember them right now, but a bunch of people, are in this. Oh, and Christopher Walken's in this show. That's one I remember. And I think Roseanne Arquette or Patricia Arquette, one of the Arquettes, is in this. So a lot of big acting chops in this one too. It's excellent in every way I can think about excellence. So I'm giving this a hard 9, just like I said I would have with Big Body Problem if they nailed the landing at the end better. Severance is great. And I'm going to have to give a guy a shout out next episode. I won't look it up right now, but there's this guy I follow. He's so I love the way he articulates his opinions about movies and TV shows, and he's what turned me on to Severance. And he made a great point that that's another thing that's so different in modern times now as opposed to back in the old days when we were kids or even in our 20s, where if a show like this was on mainstream TV, with 3 or 4 channels or even cable, it would be the talk of the town.
Yeah.
It'd be like Lost was. It would be like all these great shows where with all this intrigue in every single episode. This is all we'll be talking about. But since there's so many streaming services now and so many different originals on every streaming service, he's like pointing out that this is getting like no viewers, especially this is Apple TV. This is kind of really even more niche than say Netflix or Peacock or whatever. Yep. He said the numbers on this is bad, but it's like this would literally be the number one show in the land for, a long time if everybody was watching it, but hardly anybody's watching it, according to this guy, So I'll have to point him out though, but definitely excellence. Check out Severance on Apple TV Plus if you have it.
Yeah, it's not a direct correlation to it, but it puts me in mind of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where people go and they purposefully have memories erased.
Yeah.
It's that whole brain thing. Which I love that movie, so I think I like this too.
Yeah, I'm going to guarantee both of you'd love this. This isn't even one of those ones where I'd be curious to hear what you think. I'm telling you.
I would have guaranteed you'd like Paradise.
Would you have?
But
I could totally see you guaranteeing that, Pat. Or Mike. I could totally see that. Yeah. I don't call you for that. I don't blame you. Because that's totally my jam. There's no way you could have predicted that the writing and dialogue would have annoyed me. Right. So that's.
But I do agree with you. I think I'll like this.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out. And Pat, anytime you want to hang out with me, I got Apple TV. We can sit and watch as much of this as you want.
Okay.
Maybe when you come down the third, we'll check out the first 2 episodes together. How about that?
Yeah.
Mike, did you just see her? He's coming down anyway, that's a whole other thing. All right. Finally.
Hopefully Pat doesn't have like family brain.
Man, I couldn't hear you over that laugh at all. What'd you say?
I said, well, hopefully Pat doesn't have like a Severance thing with the show where he has his show brain and then after it's over, it shuts off and he only remembers his family life.
I wish I had one for when I was traveling,
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so. There's so many great implications for the concept of the show, right? I mean, but you watch the show and you're like, maybe not.
Yeah. It always sounds good on the surface, but
right.
That happens though. You leave work to go home, and then you're at home and you go, I don't remember driving here at all.
Oh yeah, I've definitely felt that with driving. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to. I feel like that's an extremely practiced skill to be able to separate work and family. That's something I try to talk to my my adult kids about all the time. It's like, man, we're chilling at home now. Don't bring work home with you, and don't take yada yada. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Lastly, I watched Nosferatu, which is streaming free on Peacock. I think I said it was Max last show or whatever, but it's actually streaming free on Peacock right now. And this is, of course, the remake of the classic Nosferatu from 1922, which you guys probably know this. I didn't, and if I did know this, I forgot. But I didn't realize this. Do you know what brought Nosferatu about?
What brought the movie about?
Yeah, the original 1922.
Like, no, what it was influenced by, or why it was done? I don't know any of that.
Okay, yeah, I'm asking in the way you really couldn't give me the answer I'm looking for anyway. just to tell you, this is based on Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
But they didn't have copyright rights.
Oh, interesting.
So they changed it. They changed Dracula's name to Nosferatu. They changed it to Count Orloff, I think it is, if I'm saying that right.
Lock.
Orlok, yeah. And so that's why it's literally Bram Stoker's Dracula, just with tweaks and name changes so they couldn't get sued for copyright issues.
Right.
Did you know that, Mike?
No.
Oh, okay. Did you know that, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
didn't know there was copyright stuff way back then.
That they made them destroy the film, not the original Nosferatu, but luckily some prints survived the destruction. So,
Wow.
Have you seen the original Nosferatu, Mike? I mean,
Like
from
not the
1922.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Half of it.
How about you, Pat?
yes.
Yeah. So first I'll ask you that before we even get into it. How did the translation between the original and this, are they really the same as essentially just updated technology?
The original one is more basic. This, I feel like this turns it into more like a romantic version of it.
Okay.
Definitely an updated version, but there's more sort of romantic elements to it, I feel.
Okay. Well, if you don't know anything about Bram Stoker's Dracula or Nosferatu, I can't imagine anyone who's not familiar with Dracula in general, though. But Nosferatu is a vampire, and he has this young lady on the cover here. That's the other thing with this. What do we got in this movie? This has the Green Goblin, Quicksilver, Beast, and Skarsgård.
Pennywise.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All the superheroes.
So a lot of great actors and actresses in this show. But anyway, Nosferatu is a vampire. It's all about this young lady that's on my poster here. I'm sorry, I don't have the actress's name at hand right now.
Lily Rose Depp.
Thank you, Pat.
So that's Johnny Depp's daughter.
Yeah.
See, that's why I love. That's why I could never do a show alone, because that's awesome. I didn't even know that. I knew she looked like somebody I knew.
Throw a hat on her, some weed.
Have her run around all funky. She's totally Johnny Depp. Anyway, so Nosferatu is all about this young lady, and what's Nosferatu's or Dracula's sidekick's name? His little creepy guy that eats animals and bugs.
Renfield.
Yeah, Renfeld equivalent. It's not Renfeld, but it's Renfeld equivalent guy is helping Nosferatu essentially survive. Sends Beast to him for some business. Nosferatu can then, and I'm saying Beast because it's the actor. What's the actor, Pat? Come on, I'm sorry.
Nicholas Holt.
Yeah, Nicholas Holt.
Hey, he was in Juror 2.
He was in Juror 2?
Yeah.
He was in Juror 2 also?
Yeah.
So anyway, but this all focuses on Miss Depp. And she actually had an event with Nosferatu when she was a child. And basically Nosferatu's all about her and wants nothing but her. And this takes place in the early 1900s again. And that's why there's kind of confusion with this when Beast tells everybody, because he survives Nosferatu's going to Nosferatu. He survives his encounter with Nosferatu, comes back, warns everybody, hey, this guy's crazy. He's after my wife. He's going to kill everybody. Then Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, comes in, and he starts telling everybody these tales about vampires and who Nosferatu is. The town thinks he's crazy, and no one believes him. And, of course, the plague of... isn't there a year attached to the Dark Plague, Pat?
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
You don't remember it?
Yeah.
So the Black Plague's happening in this town as well, rats are everywhere. People are getting bit. So then basically anything crazy that happens in town, they just blame on the Black Plague and the rats rather than believing what Beast and Green Goblin are telling them about Nosferatu. So Nosferatu's coming and he wants Misstep. And Misstep is Beast's wife, new wife, young. They're newlyweds, right, Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Quicksilver is their is a business partner of his. He's trying to be in business with this rich man. He was probably my favorite character in the entire. Karen, is that the years from the Black Plague, 1346 to 1353? Well, this movie definitely wasn't then. This movie's the early 20s, right? Right, Pat?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's must be another Black Plague.
Yeah. Or maybe the Black Plague in this is just totally fictitious anyway.
Maybe,
Just like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Well, unless you believe in vampires, I don't know. It's
Right.
Vampires is one of those mythological things. Is that myth the right word? But
Sure.
Things that some people just love to believe in. That they could actually exist. You know what I mean? It's like Bigfoot and what, mummies, maybe zombies. The undead, ghosts, especially. All these crazy things. Which, as long as you're not becoming a complete psycho and affecting your life, it's fun. It's fun, right, Pat?
Yes, when you start drinking human blood, then
Right.
it's, a little borderline problematic,
Right.
It's one of those things that there's sort of basis in reality, like you
Right.
said, mummies, vampires. There was possibly way back, when that elements of this existed, and then the mythology builds and builds and builds on top of it.
I love the way you're putting that. Exactly. Yeah, that's because there's only a few things that fall into those categories, and that's exactly why. Because there's a seed of truth that it grew from. Yeah. So, all right, Mike, did you catch all that? Do you believe in vampires?
What's the term? I do believe in a type of vampire, not the literal sense where they come in and they suck the blood out of you, but I do think there are people with personality types that are very vampire-like, and they can walk into a room and kind of just, or a conversation, and kind of just suck the energy out of it.
That's an energy vampire, like Colin Robinson.
Like Life Force. Yeah.
But not, that literal,
Man, that was one of my first favorite movies. You guys remember Life Force, right?
I've never seen Life Force.
I never watched it, but
Oh yeah, it's a space vampire that sucks the life force out of you. And man, it is awesome for multiple reasons. Still holds up. I've seen it in the last couple of years. Still a good movie. So anyway, back to Nosferatu. So Pat, did you want to express yourself in any way in particular about Nosferatu? What'd you think?
Like I said, I liked it. I thought it was very stylistically well done. I was unfortunately sleepy the afternoon that we watched this.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's a very sort of, it sounds like a negative when I'm saying this, but it's sort of plotting and dark and slow moving at times. So it was not a good time for me to be watching it, but it says something, I think, that I want to watch it again, because there were definitely enough there that I want to rewatch it when I'm more peppy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely think it's worth a rewatch. That's for sure. I actually said one thing, and I like the way you just said what you said, Pat, that this will kind of come off like a negative, but it was endearing with my experience with this. This is like written like a play. It's like the dialogue is very cut back and forthy kind of, way. It's not like this smooth streaming conversation. Like I said, it reminded me so much as if I was watching a really well done play, with the way it was written. And don't take that as a negative at all. I thought it was awesome with the way that the back and forth was. And of course their early 20th century speak in this. They're talking like they would in the early 1900s, and that was it. If that's not something I'm typically into either, but that was extremely endearing for me too. I enjoyed that as well. And lastly, what you're mentioning, Pat, with the just how stylistic and like what do you call it, the cinematography or whatever with this is. It commanded you to watch. You know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of the way I felt about Dracula the comic book. It was the comic book was written and drawn in such a way that I just wanted to keep it, just sucked my eyes to the page, and I just wanted to keep getting through it and enjoying it more. You know what I mean by that, Mike?
Yeah, the recent one by James
Yeah.
Tinian and
Martin Simmons.
Martin
Yeah.
Simmons. Thank you.
Yeah, that's how this movie felt for me. It just kept you wanting to watch it. So I think even though you're a sleepy, Pat, that's probably what kept you drawn to it. I mean, it's almost like Nosferatu himself was doing his eye trick, where he can stare at you and make you do what you want, or what he wants. That's coming through this movie. It's so well done. I'll just tell you, quote myself, when this movie ended, I looked at my wife and I said, that was great, but I'm not sure I liked it.
Well, he did The Lighthouse too.
Yeah.
I remember you watched The Lighthouse.
That totally checks out.
And he's doing, I think I'm right here, Pat. He's doing a werewolf movie for maybe next year.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool. And I don't mean what I just said in any kind of negative whatsoever. There's some disturbing stuff in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Just heads up. For anybody, this is not for kids, and this is not for a lot of adults. My wife had to look away and cover her eyes a couple times. This is really creepy. Definitely got some scary moments, and it's got a couple jump scares too. This is a great mix of classic horror. I don't think I could mean classic horror in any more of a specific sense. This is just as classic as you get in every way, shape, and form. So this was excellent. The ending, man, so good. Check out Nosferatu on Peacock if you haven't. Or if you're into horrors, if you're into vampires, if any of this interests you. But if you're not into any of that, don't watch it. Don't watch it. But as far as the horror is concerned, I'm going to give this a solid 9.5.
Wow.
This is, in my opinion, nearly as perfect as you can get for a classic horror flick. I thought this was amazing, So, let me give this one last example. I was getting so creeped out by this. I was making it a point to make jokes to my wife about it to chill us both out. It's like, relax for a second. It's like, I literally made a joke about the ending because it was so disturbing. So anyway, you know how you try to lighten it up, bring your brain back to reality, because this is done so well, it sucks you right into it, that kind of thing. So anyway, so great. I think that might be my highest rating I've ever given a movie since I've been reviewing it. So,
wow.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean I liked it, Pat. That doesn't mean
You just recognize
how awesome it is. Yeah, right.
There you go.
I don't know. I do mean that literally. I don't know whether I liked it or not. I don't know if I'll ever watch this again, but I don't know if someone says, "Hey, do you want to watch this with me?" I'll say no. I literally don't know. It'll probably depend on my mood and what's happening in my life at that moment. So. All right, as if that wasn't enough, that's it for me. Nothing but great stuff this past 2 weeks for me, man.
Nice.
And I like to. I'm trying to start a trend of a teaser. I do believe Daredevil: Born Again will be done this week, right? Is the
Yes,
final
final
episode?
episode this week.
So I will be giving my final opinions on Daredevil: Born Again on the next show. So check us out for that. But I've got a couple other fun ones too in mind that I won't even mention. I like to add the fun stuff, you know. So. But that's it. Okay, Mike, are you ready?
Yep.
When I start this, I'm going to step out. I'll be right back too.
All right, here we go. This is the first time we're going to be doing this. I have 10 covers chosen from a list of 787 because we're combining 2 weeks. The first half hit the shelves April 9th, and the second half will hit the shelves on April 16th. So some of these you've got to go get now, and other ones wait a couple of days. And I think what I'll do is, since this is all new, I'll keep it 5 and 5. We figure make it easier for Pat to do what he did here, and this looks perfect. So we'll start off with Absolute Batman #7, Nick Dragata, and then Doctor Strange of Asgard #2, Dan Panosian. That's the 1 in 25 variant. Amazing Spider-Man #1, Ryan Stegman. I think everybody's looking forward to new Spider-Man. Daredevil #20, Philip Tan. Then Spawn 363, Edward Delandre. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit more about that cover a little bit later. Absolute Flash #2, Nick Robles. Is it Robles or Robles?
I don't know.
Robles. Probably Robles. Titans 22, Pete Woods. Catwoman 75, Sebastian Fiumara. Buried Long, Long Ago #1, Colleen Duran. And then Wonder Woman #20, Gilliam March. In my head, I always put the I after the L. Put Gilliam.
Yeah.
But it's Gilliam March. So there you have it. There's our 10 for the week, for the 2 weeks.
Right.
So what do you think of these, Pat?
I think I don't know if any of one I really like. The rest of them didn't blow me away, but I had a hard time narrowing it down to 3. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I thought it would be really easy for me to get 10. You know, if I'm picking 5 out of 400, that should be easy. But yeah, it was still tough getting 10 out of almost 800. But once I got them all done, I was pretty happy with them overall. I do think there's a weak one in there.
Well, so I'm back. The only thing I want to say is, why isn't there a Rivals? Didn't Rivals come out next week?
Maybe the Rivals covers weren't great. I did a Rivals one last time.
No, I think that was a Rivals themed cover. But I thought the actual Rivals comic comes out next week. I could be mistaken, but
it probably does, and it's just nothing struck me on it.
So I'm just sad about it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, not that you need a defense, but I'll bet you, in defense of you, when you had so many, you're probably in your head thinking, this is going to be easy to find 10. So you scrutinize even more, which makes it hard to find 10, that kind of thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. Cause I'm also thinking, okay, I have 5 slots. I only have 5 slots when I get through this. I don't want to do.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Oh, I forgot you were intentionally. I missed that. Sorry. Yeah. You were intentionally only doing 5 from each week. Gotcha.
Right. It says Rivals #1 came out the 2nd of April.
Oh, geez, man, shows how long I've been since I've been to my comic store, and
So-
we never. So was it actual Rivals cover he did last week, Pat? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, it was the J. Scott Campbell cover. Yeah, that was number 1.
Yeah, there you go.
What was the cover?
Psylocke.
Lilac.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I apologize. I stand corrected, Mike. Go figure.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Now, this is something to think about while we go over the top 3. There were 2 covers that got 0 votes, one from each week.
That's funny. That's crazy.
Yeah. And one of them, I'm not surprised. I feel it was the weakest cover. And I have reasons that I put it on there. We'll go over those.
Oh, I can't wait to guess at that at the end. Can I just say this though, too? Obviously you make the rules, but just a suggestion for you is I think this 5 and 5 is great. But say hypothetically, in one week you may like 6 or 7, and the other week you don't. I wouldn't intentionally. This is fun when it's 5 and 5. 5 from each week. But I wouldn't. I don't think there's any reason to put that constraint on yourself. Do you agree with that, Pat?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I imagine. I was trying to keep Pat's job easy because I figured he was going to lay these out and have to put the dates on there, and I like what he did. I had no idea how he was going to do it, but I tried to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool. I just would say if it's tough for you, not to worry about it. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he could probably come up with a way to maybe slide him over. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he's awesome like
That's
that.
up
Yeah.
for the challenge.
Yeah.
All
right.
All right. So let's get with
we
number-
lost. I totally forgot we lost Karen already. Daggum.
Yeah.
So let me get some cheers and booze ready for you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Coming in 3rd place, we have Wonder Woman number 20, Gilliam Mark.
Very nice. I picked this. I think I
Also
made a deal.
get this one placed.
You said you're surprised this placed, Mike?
Yeah.
Me too.
I am. I'm going to say I am too. Not because I didn't like it because I picked it, but I don't think anyone else in my house picked it. So I wasn't thinking it would be there. But awesome. Did either one of you pick this one?
No.
Nope.
But you had Karen not living in your house, but also Ayla.
Oh, Ayla picked it too. Okay.
I feel like this would have been a good cover if they would have left Batman off of it.
Oh, Batman's on it. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
It's sort of funny because it sort of mirrors the Titans cover, but the Titans cover did it the right way. I don't like this.
Okay. All right, I'm good with that one.
All right. And in 2nd place, which I absolutely love, but I didn't vote for it, we have Absolute Batman. Number 7, from Nick Dragata.
Now, this is the opposite for me. This surprises me. This wasn't number 1 because I think everybody in my house voted for this one, including me. I'm 2 for 2 right now. Where are you guys at?
0 for 2.
Also 0 for 2. Don't like this cover.
Daggum, really? Wow. Mike, look at all the ice and snow.
I know. I like the snow. I like the color blue. And I like the snow on the trade dress there. But I still didn't vote for it.
I was totally projecting because I'm like, okay, everybody in my house votes for this. This is obviously an awesome cover. Mike's going to love this because of the snow. He's definitely picking it. Pat's going to love this because there's no gargoyle in it. He's picking it. And so I figured for sure this is going to be number 1, but it's still great, obviously. Yeah. Very nice. All right, we ready for the final one then?
Yeah, I hope I get one.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see who all voted for it.
Wow.
Doctor Strange of Asgard, number 1, Dan Panosian. Yeah, hey, I voted for this one.
I'm surprised. I like this cover, but I'm very surprised it won.
Yep.
I am surprised too. I like this cover. I didn't vote for it though. But it's a good cover.
Yeah, it's back-to-back weeks for Dan.
Yeah.
And like right now, he's doing all these variant covers, and this is kind of his thing, kind of like Art Germ did for a long time. A lot of his covers are these real up close shots. But this one I like in particular because he squeezed the hands in there.
Yeah.
And I like the kind of the swirls.
This
Give it
was
that-
definitely in the running for the top 3 for me, but I think the ultimate thing that made me take it off was I don't like the title or the dress the way it is there. I love the picture itself, but
Yeah.
I don't like. I think that's what it was that I just didn't care for that trade dress. Who
Yeah,
is this anyway?
Clea.
Who's Clea?
Yeah, you got to be reading it, I guess.
Doctor Strange's longtime girlfriend. She's been around forever.
Oh, okay. I'm not a Doctor Strange aficionado, so
Yeah. Not many people aren't.
is that what's her name in the movie?
Yeah, the little teaser at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can tell it's Clea by the swirls. That's like her costume.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
It's kind
All
of
right,
gave
it's cool.
like a Jim Steranko feel with those swirls.
Yeah.
You said you both voted for this?
I did not, but it was on one of my last
Possible
eliminations. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know with you, Kevin. I don't like the trade dress. I don't like the font. I don't like any of that. There's really no place to put it on this cover, though.
Right.
If you put it down in the right corner, you kind of lose her hand, which I think is important. So yeah, it's sometimes I think these guys just draw covers and turn it in, and then
And then then someone else
everybody's
decides
like-
where they're going to put it. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh boy, this one's a tough one. So,
Oh, is that a thing? I think you guys just I think that statement, Mike, just prompted a new question for me that you guys might know that I don't. That is there ever a different artist credited with just the title logo and stuff like that?
I mean, there are famous logos that have been designed throughout the years that have been given credit to certain people, but I don't know if they specifically ever call it out in the books. I mean, more modern days, sure, they might say something, like the Hellboy logo is famously created by Kevin Nolan, another artist. You think of him more as an artist, but he came up with the Hellboy logo.
Okay.
Yeah, and the book that I'm going to review, it actually inside the cover, it actually lists who designed the logo.
Perfect timing for my question then.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's an interesting thing I never even thought about. Yeah.
And when you see the logo, you'll say, "Oh, okay, yeah, that one. I would want credit. I would want credit for that."
Right. Well, it's like we credit Pat with Cover Combat logos. I mean, it's worth crediting regardless of what it's attached to. Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. There's all 10 again.
All right. So I want to hear what I kind of came in as you were discussing the whole. Would you say, Pat, you only liked half of these, but there was only a couple you didn't really like a lot? What'd you say?
There was only one that I really liked a lot, which was the Flash cover.
Okay.
But the rest of them sort of bunched up in maybe a top 5 for me, so I had to really scrutinize who I was going to finally finalize for my final 3. So,
gotcha. So what were those 3? Because you got 0 in the actual.
Yes, I had 0. I was shut out this week. So Flash, which I felt was the best cover of the week. The Amazing Spider-Man, because I just like the flow of it. It just reads really well, and they used up the whole cover neatly there. And the final one is a surprise for me, which is the Spawn cover.
Oh wow! Okay, nice. I think all of these were in the running for me. I literally had to kind of nitpick to drop any of them off. The Amazing Spider-Man I dropped off because I can't make heads or tails of Rhino. I want to know where his arms, legs, what direction he's facing. I don't know what's happening.
What's funny, when Mark looked at that, he couldn't understand it. And so he explained what he saw, and he saw Spider-Man up in the buildings, and like below him was the ground. So he's trying to make heads or tails on how's Rhino there.
Oh.
But I had to point out the railroad tracks, and he thought that was the side of a building going down. I'm like, oh, I see what you're seeing. That's
Oh,
pretty.
I see what he's seeing now too. Okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I totally saw subway tracks. Rhino's running into a wall, but what position is Rhino in? Where's his body parts? It's so weird.
He's in the position of running into a wall.
Right, but the way his body's configured, I can't make heads or tails of how I would fix him if I was gonna. Let's say he was a configured action figure with unlimited joint, movement, and I tried to take that action figure out of there and unfold it. I wouldn't know how to. It's like a transformer trick for me. I wouldn't know how to transform it.
Yeah.
Now I like the Daredevil a lot, but the nitpick on that is his fist right in front of his face, blocking his face like that. That's I didn't like that. I love the Spawn. That was probably that and Doctor Strange were probably my closest to being in my top 3 as well. But I love that Catwoman. That was actually my other third one, right, Mike? If I'm remembering correct.
Yeah, I was surprised you voted for that one, and that one kind of drew my interest. Patrick and I had been talking about Robert McGinnis, an artist, and did a lot of the old pulp books, paperback books, and stuff like that. And I saw this, and it doesn't look like a Robert McGinnis, but it kind of put me in that mindset of the old pulpy stuff. So
yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm going to put this one up there.
So did you get 2 out of 3, Mike, out of the top 10?
No, I got 1. I got the Doctor Strange.
What was your other 2?
I forget now. Amazing Spider-Man. And Buried Long, Long Ago. I like Colleen Durant a lot.
Well, that brings my next question about that Buried Long, Long Ago. Is that Nosferatu? Is this about Nosferatu? What's going on here, Mike?
It is not. You'll find out when I review it because I did order this. I ordered this cover. This is based on a true story, I guess, of this woman back in, I think it was the 1800s. And yeah, she was went on this murdering spree kind of thing, and nobody knew about it for years.
So that's one of those deals where it's a shadow of what she acts like when she's not pretending to be so petite and sweet. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's so.
Kind of looks like Nosferatu's hand. Speaking of Nosferatu, I'm not intentionally mentioning it, but I did think about this when I left. When you started talking about this, Pat and Mike, have you seen what Pennywise looks like as Nosferatu?
I saw a trailer a while ago, but I've since forgotten everything.
Pat, what'd you think of the up to date interpretation?
I like the look. Yeah.
That sounds coded like I didn't really like it, but I liked what do you mean?
His speech pattern became annoying to me.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I agree. It was annoying, but I liked that. Yeah. I thought it was appropriate for him to have a annoying, disgusting.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
He's constantly dying speech pattern. That's what I was thinking the entire time. Is this guy getting ready to fall out right now? But anyway, so. All right. Did you guys have anything else to say about the 10?
Yeah. Absolute Flash I put up there because I knew how much Patrick liked it. Because we had talked about the Absolute Flash privately a few weeks ago. And then I really like the Titans. I love how Deathstroke is just silhouetted in the background. I thought that was really cool.
I wish they wouldn't have put the He's Back on there.
That's true. That's very Scooby-Doo-ish.
Very Scooby-Doo-ish.
I agree with that. The Daredevil, I hate that costume.
Right.
But I like Philip Tan a lot, and I think this was the best representation of that costume on this issue. But I agree with Kevin too. The downfall of that one, I think, is the hand placement. I wish it had been down just a little bit. It would have been a lot better.
Yeah, it would have made sense, right? Yeah.
You guys want to guess the 2 that didn't get any? It's 1 from each week. Didn't get any votes at all.
All right, you guess 9, Pat, first. I'll guess 16 first.
For 9, it has to be the Daredevil, right?
And for the 16, I'm just gonna guess because it's just out of place for the set you got is Buried Long Long Ago. Didn't get any.
I just said I voted for that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's how I got my answer, because I know everybody else voted for everything else. So
Right, yeah.
Titans then.
All right, there you go. You're both correct. Daredevil and Titans.
I thought you said you pre-ordered it, but I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say you voted for it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, Daredevil and Titans got 0 votes.
Yeah, nailed it. I can't wait to grab that Spawn cover to see it in real life too. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Were you going to talk about that Spawn cover at all, Pat?
yeah, does anybody know anything about this artist, Edward
No,
Delandre?
I do. This is what I know about him. So Todd, being the awesome guy that he is, he started this thing called Spawnuary. And basically everybody can submit, like fans could submit artwork with Spawn characters, and Todd or whoever would decide, and one of them would become a cover. And this is the first winner. It's
Wow.
a fan art challenge encouraging fans to create art featuring characters from the Spawn universe, with the best submissions potentially feature the comic book covers. So this was the first one, Edward Delandre. So there you go. That's why I thought this was a really great one. So.
And I follow Todd in multiple ways. How did I not hear about this contest happening? Jeez, it's so hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, but Spawnuary is what he called it. Don't know why. January, Spawnuary. I don't know.
I remember hearing about it because of the controversy.
What was the controversy?
That there was a winner that was potentially AI or something.
Oh.
Oh.
Or somebody in the running, that was AI, and they disqualified him. Yeah, I'm glad you had the background information, because I knew it was the contest winner, and he won the spot to be on the cover. So I started looking him up, and one of the things that intrigued me about this is because I wanted to find a better version of the cover, because I couldn't get past the fact I was wondering if he was loading a finger into a gun. It's almost what that looked like to me. I don't know if that's what it is, or if it's supposed to just be a bullet, but it looks like another one of his fingers. It's just weird. I don't know why I was stuck on that. I didn't hate it because of that. I kind of liked it because of that. And then I went to his social media and found the best copy I could. And then I have his other 2 submissions. One was the Violator, and the reason I showed these is because I figured Mike would like the Gunslinger.
Oh, nice.
Those are really good. Yeah, hopefully he gets some work from this, because I like his.
So these are 3 submissions from the same guy. These aren't 3 different people's submissions. Gotcha. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I almost guarantee he's going to get work from this. Yeah. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. You always think with these contest winners, is it going to translate into something else more? Because this is so awesome, it has to. Yeah.
At least cover work. You'd have to have some storytelling skills for interiors, but I think a lot of people were liking this.
One of the not weird, but unique aspects of this is these are oil paintings on wood.
What?
They get a big piece of wood in the mail. Yeah,
that even makes it more awesome. What's his name again?
Edward Delandre.
Wow. All right. Definitely have to tag that guy in the show.
Yeah,
we should get him on our show before he gets too big.
Yeah.
Too late.
Get a commission on a piece of wood you have sitting around.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, looking at that picture now that you're pointing at that bullet finger question, I definitely think it looks like a bullet. It kind of makes it doesn't exactly make sense. So hypothetically, if that was a shell casing coming out, he's grabbing or whatever, when he just shot, it wouldn't have the actual tip on it. So, which the tip is on that bullet.
Right.
And if he's putting it in the gun, he wouldn't be holding the gun there when he's getting ready to put it in it. I guess the only thing that could be is he's being safe and he's ejecting the last round after he's removed his magazine. It's flying up and he's grabbing it. I guess that's the only, right, Mike?
Yeah, because to load that gun, you would have to pull the magazine, load the magazine.
Right.
And if it's ejecting, then it would be open and not closed already.
Well, if he just
Well, I guess it
would.
would. It could be. Yeah. It could be. I took it as a bullet as well. And I've seen artists draw bullets not knowing.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And guns.
It's like coming down at you, and it's the whole
right. Right.
the casing, everything. It's everything. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'll give you a pass.
I thought this was interesting too. How I don't like the face at all, but it doesn't detract from the art at all. It's
it's really, his head's really small.
Yeah. So
It's like
anyway,
it's with Beetlejuice.
but very cool. Very cool. It's good information to know too, for sure. Awesome. Great job, Mike. I mean it. So does the audience. All right, we ready to talk about these great books we're appreciating the covers for?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Oh crap! Sorry, I'm all messed up here.
First today. Okay.
And I just decided this recently that obviously I was just playfully putting you first for a while, but then I think it makes sense. I think even though you're the last one that just talked, we're usually just getting over me talking for an hour. So I figure people had their fill of Kevin for a minute.
Yeah. I get it. All right. I read Far Down Below, and as I was talking a little bit ago, that logo design is really awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
It was actually designed by the book artist, Gage Shaw. I'm guessing Gage Shaw. He did not do this cover. I didn't write down who did the cover. But he did the interiors and that logo design.
Man, I think you might have, if it wasn't Gunslinger Spawn recently for the last couple months, you're picking Mad Cave books. You're really digging Mad Cave, huh?
Yeah, I always look at Mad Cave. They've got a lot of really great stuff coming.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
And this one I highlighted on the previous preview.
Yeah. I'm sure I asked this before. Sorry. But for anybody who hasn't watched them before, it's new to them. How long's Mad Cave been around now? They're like just a couple years now, right?
I don't know. I'm thinking probably 10.
10?
I feel like they just had like a logo that had their anniversary on it, but I can't remember.
I don't know why I'm thinking 10, but maybe because it was they did have it on there or something.
Huh, that's crazy. Why? Well, is it just me? Is it, I feel like they've just been on the radar for me for a couple years now. So is that the same for you guys, or have you been aware, Mike, of them substantially longer time than that?
Oh, man, it's been a few years. I'm trying to think of what the first book was that caught my attention from them. 10 years. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's awesome though.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get a list of their books and see which one it was that.
And when it comes to comic publishers, I guess that's still a baby though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, 2015.
10 years ain't very long.
Yeah. Nowadays.
Especially what a time to start a company too, and then COVID happens. It's you're just barely getting your legs, and then COVID hits.
So this came out March 26th. It's written by Chris Condon, most well known for That Texas Blood, and it's to the point now, which I never read. I wish I had read it. He did another miniseries, a Western one. I can't remember the name of it. Some kind of gang.
Okay.
Can't remember. Anyway, it's the point now where if his name is on it, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna give it some time.
Gotcha.
And this is set in 1983, Eastern Pennsylvania. I was hoping it would be Western Pennsylvania, but it's Eastern. And it starts off kind of slow. It's a rainy day. These two friends are kind of indoors. They annoyed me as I was reading it because one was a super high energy, just going crazy, and the other one wasn't. But I guess it kind of did its job in conveying how young teenage boys are. It's just they're annoying. And so they're indoors, they're being bored, and then Brian, he's the one with the glasses on the cover there. He kind of mentions that his grandfather owned a house down the road or across town, and it's empty, and it just so happens that that's the local haunted house. So Mike is the other character there, and he's like, well, then that's a perfect adventure for us, let's go. So they hop on their bikes, they ride across town.
Did you say the first character's name?
Brian and Mike are the characters.
Brian and Mike. Because I was totally thinking about this is kind of like me and you when we were kids.
I was
kind of a psycho, and you're kind of a chill guy.
Yeah, you're always the one that's like, hey, let's go here, let's do this, let's go on an adventure. I'm like, no, man, I'm good.
Right.
And I thought that same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and even when they're hanging out, being bored in the house, they're they're playing Star Wars stuff and all this crazy stuff. And I remember us being teenagers and like, come on, dude, let's box. I got these boxes. So we boxing. By the end, there's nothing to do with this comic, but by the end of the little boxing match, the gloves were off. We were holding them by the string and swinging them at each other.
Whipping each other in the face.
Yeah, we had so much fun. But yeah, I made that same
comparison
there. So they get to the house, and it's creaky. Floorboards are creaking. It's all scary and stuff, and they end up falling through the floor down into this lower basement area, and they're sitting there, and down kind of a hallway or the other side, there's a light being emitted, and there's kind of a shadow there of a person, and that's how it ended. It's like, oh, okay, this actually. At first, I was bored with it. Even I was as bored as the characters were. But by the end, I thought, okay, I can't wait for issue number 2.
You're basically still kind of feeling the way the characters are feeling. That got exciting for them too, I'm sure. Yeah, right.
Exactly. I wasn't a fan of the artwork. This is the first 2 pages. I don't know where this sits in the story. It's underground with this weird burrowing space thing, or I don't know who these people are. I don't know when they are.
Probably assume they're probably going to end up being one of the shadows or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It might be like the one with the glasses. Very well might be Brian. I don't know, but I think this is in the future. But it's only a couple pages. The artwork didn't impress me a lot, and that might be why I expected better artwork based on the cover. I really, really love the cover, and when I opened it up, I was like, oh, okay, that's not the cover.
Yeah.
But by the end, it kind of serves the story well. It's good storytelling. It's just the style. There are no backgrounds. I just was not a fan of the art. But the outdoors, this stuff looks good. Indoors, I was bored with it. This looks great.
Yeah.
So as it goes on, then there's inside the house. So I think with backgrounds, it's better, but no backgrounds. So I guess maybe that was an artistic choice to make me as bored as what the kids were.
Right.
In the house. So
Did you feel it?
yeah. So this with being written by Chris Condon, it has great potential. So I would say it's a get it. I imagine I'll start to enjoy the artwork a little more as I go on and kind of get away from the comparison to the covers and take it for what it is. So for now, this is a get it.
This definitely sounds like something I might want to get. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right.
The cover artist is Jacob Phillips.
There you go. Yeah. I think this is a mini series too. So if you're limited on funds and don't want to really dive into full commitment, I think it's five or six issues.
That makes me happier. That's kind of where I'm at. So that makes me happy. I like that. Yeah. She got Pat.
All right, I got two. Well, I guess you could say three books, but first one I'm going to talk about. I'm a glutton for punishment. Apparently, I just last week we talked about. I mentioned the fact that a lot of times television and movie properties don't translate to comics for me, and we know I'm such a big fan of my good friend Ryan North. So combine the two great tastes together, and you get Godzilla versus the Fantastic Four. And the first of a series of one shots coming out from Marvel Comics. The artist here, I actually ordered two of these books. I'm so ridiculous. I got the Nick Bradshaw cover, and the cover that I like actually better is the Scotty Young.
Oh, that's awesome.
He only did the first one for the Fantastic Four, unfortunately, because I was hoping to get just a set of those.
That's
well, you're obviously hopeful that the translation between movies and TV to comics, and then all the things you're saying end up well. Yeah.
Yeah. You always hope for the best. I got to keep that positive outlook.
What were you going to say about this cover, Mike? I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
I agree with Pat. It's one of Scotty's best. It's when he does the backgrounds and the whole story, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this story takes place it's set in the past. It's somewhere after the first Godzilla movie, 1954 Godzilla, and it's also after Fantastic Four's first encounter with the Galactus and the Silver Surfer. So it's set in that era, probably around Fantastic Four in the 60s, 70s, something like that. Okay. Number wise. And Ryan North takes that opportunity to channel his best Stan Lee, because he's writing in that style, that bombastic style, that explain everything with lyrical dialogue that Stan liked to do. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. And don't if you're thinking, well, that I like Ryan North because he likes his science experiments and his history lessons in comics. Don't worry, folks. He's got a little one shoehorned in here for you, because he somehow explains the invisible girl at this time. Somehow explains her powers, that she, her power isn't really, it's not exactly invisibility. It's the power to bend light. And somehow she bends light to create a doppelganger of the thing that's the size of Godzilla to distract him. So there's that.
Was this a power all the time, or is this a new power?
Yes and no. I mean, it's a scientific twist to her powers, I suppose, that he's trying to explain here. Luckily, he doesn't go on for 5 pages about it. It's just like a couple panels.
But for you, you've tolerated Ryan North for so long, it's like there's a magnifying glass on everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess so. Did I say the art? I didn't mention the artist. The artist is John Romita Jr. Okay, we'll get to him. So Godzilla somehow has come back. Even after he was destroyed by the Oxygen Destroyer in 1954, he's back and he's attacking New York. And the Fantastic Four have to go out and stop him somehow. They do, using Reed makes a giant fist to punch Godzilla. And Sue's shenanigans with her bending the light, they managed to take him down, but it took a lot out of the Fantastic Four to do it. Suddenly, the sky it starts burning. This illusion that the sky is burning. This is exactly what happened when Galactus came to Earth. But it's not Galactus. It's Galactus's new herald, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Oh.
Who has been given the power cosmic by Galactus as his new herald.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
It's pretty cool though.
So Godzilla's down for the count because of the Fantastic Four. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, he seems even of a worse problem than Godzilla was. Luckily, at this time, Silver Surfer was trapped on Earth by Galactus. He was imprisoned. He couldn't leave Earth. And he shows up on the scene and gives his power cosmic to Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
And, it all turns out well. Godzilla defeats, the cosmic powered Godzilla defeats Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, and everything wraps up nice and neat. They Silver Surfer just never see him again. They say, luckily, Godzilla gave the power cosmic back to the Silver Surfer, and Ghidorah was stripped of his powers and went off to do whatever he was going to do. But the looming threat of Galactus still remains because, he's going to be back. And I don't know. I don't know if that's where they're going, because I think these, what I'm gathering is that these one shots are connected, but they're different periods in time. And I think from what I saw this week, there's a Godzilla destroys the Marvel Universe that was announced this week. And I think that's potentially wrapping this all up. And I don't know if it ends up coming down to Godzilla versus Galactus. We can only hope, because that sounds awesome. I don't know. Anyway.
You know what I hate about connected but different one-shots?
Yeah.
You know what I hate about them the worst?
You can't file them all together.
Exactly. Not only physically, but then in my CLZ app, I've got like 18,000 one-shots, It's like...
Well, physically, these are all going to go under Godzilla.
Right, but I'm still going to have 18,001. I love those lines. That's one line with like 300 books, Those are the best way to keep your CLZ filing. I don't know if yours is exactly the same with the one you use, Pat, but that drives me nuts.
Yeah, the what's the Marvel ones? The dollar books, True Believers.
Yeah.
When I scroll through my True Believers, it's a list I can't even squeeze it on the screen.
Yeah,
it annoys me.
Star Wars is the worst. I literally have so many pages of Star Wars because there's so many billion one shots. It's crazy.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That's sort of how I feel about this book. So, like I said, Ryan North, he's not my cup of tea, especially trying to do his best Stan Lee impression. I think it makes it even worse, in my opinion. I've been, everyone was a detractor of John Romita Jr. lately in the last go around with Amazing Spider-Man. I was one of his supporters. I said he still had something left in the tank. Some of his stuff was really good. Not here, folks.
Ah, man, that sucks.
I'm
sure he's going to have no problem keeping a job as long as he wants it, though. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes his Fantastic Four is okay. Sometimes it's not. His Godzilla is wildly inconsistent and off model. just in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster's no better. Just didn't leave me with a very good taste in my mouth here. It's a forget it for me here. I'm ordering all these Godzilla books. We'll see if I can review them. I know Ryan North. There's different creative teams on all of them, so Ryan North will not be back. So that's positive in my eyes.
Just
so,
one
we'll see.
clarification specifics.
Mm-hmm.
So, three-headed monster had since she right? She. Ghidorah.
Yeah, that's always a conundrum, even with Godzilla. He, she, who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, so she has the power cosmic too because she's a herald, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So.
And oh my gosh, a huge nitpick here was the big climactic scene, where Godzilla is empowered with Silver Surfer's power cosmic. He grabs Ghidorah and unleashes this, cosmic / radioactive blast out of his mouth, as Godzilla traditionally does.
Yeah.
And it's going right past Ghidorah. It's like going into the air, but he defeats the monster. It's just I don't know if it's storytelling problems. They weren't on the same page. I was just
weird.
like, what is happening here? Just I don't
Wouldn't
know.
that herald be able to absorb a power cosmic shot anyway?
Yeah, maybe you'd think so, but it's the power cosmic combined with the atomic powers of Godzilla, Kevin.
Okay. Okay. Well, it
So-
sounds fun, even though you're giving it a forget it. It sounds fun. You're making it sound better than it is, apparently, right, Mike? Does it sound
Well,
cool?
I'm ordering the Versus covers.
Yeah.
So I did look at this, and yeah, I'm one of the ones that I feel that John Romita Jr. has kind of lost a step, and I don't like his artwork as much. I find more that I don't like than what I do like. And when I was looking at this, I was like, oh my gosh, I was really taken aback at how badly drawn some of the Godzilla pages were. And yeah, I was shocked. I was like, wow, this is just not really good.
Wow.
It's funny, not to belabor the point, but there is a famous Godzilla toy mold that was around in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It just kept being used and used and used. And I saw this post before I actually read the book, and I can't remember the name of the company, but they're like, apparently John Romita Jr. referenced this toy for Godzilla this whole way through, because that toy is way off model. Even though it's officially licensed, it was way off model. It didn't look a thing like Godzilla. And a lot of the times, a lot of the panels, Godzilla looks just like that toy. Sometimes he doesn't, though. Sometimes he does. It's just so inconsistent.
Wow.
I think some of the head sizes were odd too,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Yeah. I really should have pulled some interiors for this review, but I saved you guys the pain. So, on a more positive note, and by the way, here's the most positive thing about it is the Scotty Young cover, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it.
I even like this one, even though the corner box is all wonky, and it turned out just like that as published, all weird. So there's that. Get your act together, Marvel cover department.
Yeah, it is so weird.
Dynamite Comics, Herculoids, the Herculoids, number
Nice.
one.
Okay.
And number 2. I went with the Mike Mignola cover for number 1 and the Eric Powell cover for number 2. Writer Tom Snagoski and artist Craig Rousseau. $4.99 book from Dynamite. Number 1 is mainly a setup issue. It introduces this shady character. He's looking to exploit the natural resources of the planet Amzot. That's where the Herculoids live. It's mysterious. It's sort of legendary. No one really knows how to get there, but they eventually find a way to get there. He has this whole refinery team that's going to suck the energy or the lifeblood out of the planet. And they've heard rumors of these monsters that protect the planet, and the monsters end up being, the Herculoids. So the rumors are true. And they sort of used number one as a chance to introduce to you all the characters one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's a very quick read. Not a lot of story going on here. Very good art. Craig sort of captures that Hanna-Barbera look very well, and there's no problems with the storytelling aspects. It'd just be a matter of if this style of comic art is up your alley or not. Number two sort of has the team back on their heels because the bad guy unveils this whole army of robots that he's kind of held in reserve, and he unleashes them and kind of puts the team back on their heels, and they have to regroup, but they eventually fight him off, no problem. Like I said, simple story, but good and logical. The story makes sense. There's no weird scientific explanation of their powers. They don't, there's no, this guy has this internal combustion engine that makes him able to shoot rocks out of the horn in his head. It's all because of this bit of science that I'm going to tell you about right now for the next 3 pages. And
you don't need to know how it works to think it's cool. Right. He's just like, that's cool.
Yes. So yeah, sometimes just, you don't need to explain things. Just sit back and enjoy them. It's cool. Like you said, Mike. So while, and I will give them credit here because they're doing a nice job of string the books together. Like there was sort of a twist at the end of the first issue that led you to want to see what happened in the second issue. And at the end of the second issue, there's a reveal of, what all the goings on that happened in number two sort of awaken something in underneath the earth. And that's setting up for number three. So it's good, logical storytelling. And like I said, good, consistent art. So even though I really don't know where this book is going yet, it's definitely a get it. I don't know it. I don't know if any of us or there's anybody out there that are huge Herculoids fans. There's not, even though it seems like it was around forever, I don't believe there's very many episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I was a pretty big Herculoids fan, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it lasted long. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you might get this book, and Kevin, you might say, this is not the Herculoids I know. That, by the way, that's one of the cool things. I felt this when I started reading it. Then I fact checked myself, because they start talking about the Herculoids planet, and they're like, the planet Amzot, or it's sometimes known as blah 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 or blah blah blah. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if that's because they were very inconsistent, back in the 70s, creating this animated cartoon that, there was no nerds fact checking things on their keyboards back then, saying, right. Oh, what about this contradicts episode 1? They said it was planet such and such, and it turns out that is exactly what happened. They like had the original series, and then they sort of had a reboot, in the 80s or something, and they called the planet something else. So they're kind of reconciling things and saying, well, this all could be true in this comic book. So that's kind of a neat thing. So yeah, it's a get it for me for now. I love, we often talk about the absurd number of variant covers Dynamite does.
Yeah.
But I've also commented one thing I do like about them is they show all the covers in the back of the book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Little thumbnails, but still it's cool to see them all.
Right.
And it does give you the opportunity, like in my picks here, I got 2 of my more favorite artists, to choose from to do these first 2 covers. So I can't complain about that either. And I think I'm up, it's probably on ordering number 5 now. And they're continuing with different artists. It seems like I have a different artist every time that I'm picking and choosing from the cover. And I like what I'm seeing. So keep up the good work. And we'll see where it goes from here, but get it for now from me.
I think is Linsner doing. I think he's doing a cover for each issue, though, isn't
Yeah, I think he's so dynamite heavy. I think he
he?
does
Yeah,
covers for every single book they put out.
yeah,
I don't know how he does it.
yeah, because he's not just throwing that together in a day.
No, they're not
Um,
simple headshots usually either.
Yep. Go back to the Mignola cover, issue
Yeah.
1. I was just noticing this after all the years of looking at Mike Mignola's artwork. Why doesn't he like shoulders?
That's evolved. It's definitely, yeah, that's definitely been a thing that's sort of evolved over the years. If
Yeah.
you start looking at things, it's just a consistent direction his style has taken, where they kind of have those very sloping shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I was going to ask you, are their names Gleep and Gloop? And sure enough, I'm right. The
Yeah.
two blobs are Gleep and Gloop. That's hilarious. And I looked this up for you while you were talking. Yeah, there was 18 episodes in the initial run, and then 11 more episodes in the 1981 reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not that, obviously, especially by today's standards, that's not much. Yeah,
yeah, but there were
Yep.
a million episodes when we were kids.
right,
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, they were great. So I'm definitely going to be grabbing these. And you know the movie Let It Ride with Richard Dreyfuss? Bear with me
Yeah.
for a second, right? You remember that, Mike?
Yes.
Well, one thing he did in that I relate to so much is every time he'd see somebody, he'd like calculate their earnings. Do you guys remember that? It was such a funny part. I loved it. I loved it in the movie. And that's what I think about, especially when I rewatched I think it was the last episode we put out where I was questioning how they can put out all these covers when they aren't making much money, blah, blah, blah. Do you think it's possible that these artists are on like a commission basis where depending on how many of their covers that they put on there, that's how they get paid? Like they offer up all these covers, but hypothetically, you'd have to imagine some of them aren't getting ordered or some of them are barely getting, ordered, that then they would use that as an out to pay. Again, like I said, kind of commission, literally, to where they get paid on what sell. You think that might be a possibility? Because then that would make it more feasible financially for a company, especially a smaller company, to put out a million cover options. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It's a possibility. I don't know.
Right, Mike? Are you thinking?
I'm thinking, I don't know, because we're talking about Linsner, he is all over Dynamite, so I'm sure he gets a per cover price.
Or maybe it's a combo of the both then, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's more likely. I mean, Mike's right. They're going to get a rate regardless, but they might get some kind of commission on top of that if their cover sells more. I don't know.
Do you see that Linsner's actually doing Amazing Spider-Man covers?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever done Marvel before, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, he has. Okay. He probably did it a bunch while I wasn't collecting or paying attention.
He had like he got his own limited series. It's I think a black cat. She looks different.
Okay.
But if you saw it, you'd say, "Oh yeah, there it is."
Yeah, very distinct. Cool.
All right, awesome.
Right. Wow, Pat. I think I'm gonna get coffee.
Okay. I also read 2 books, and one of them is also a Dynamite book.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, sorry. I'm getting ready for segment.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see what you read.
You forgot about me.
Watch it later. What you read?
So Savage Tales. This is my first beef with this book. Okay. This is issue number 1. Okay.
That's not beef; it's monkey, Kevin.
First of all, this is an homage to Savage Tales number 1. This is volume 1, Savage Tales number 1. Okay.
Mhm.
Incidentally, I bought this Savage Tales number 1 thinking this was volume 1, but this is volume 2, FYI, just side note. But anyway, so I was excited when I saw Savage Tales. Who was it? Me that highlighted on the previous previews, or was it one of you? I think Mike, maybe.
Yeah, I did. But going back to that volume 2, that's a great book. That has the Nam in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, right there. You bought that?
yeah. Well, this isn't mine. I don't have mine slabbed. This is the only.
Oh, okay.
I looked up pictures for this online, and mine's actually at Xcellar, so I didn't have it here to just take a picture of my own.
Yeah.
And all the pictures I found online are all grainy and bad, except this one that I saw that's graded. But this is not my book. I just wanted to show the cover. But I do have this book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this. Just came out in February of this year, and it says issue number 1 right on it. But this is the 2025 winter special issue. So this isn't good. This isn't a running series. Which, what? Come on, give us more Savage Tales. Heavy Metal just died. So, and I tried Cruel Universe, and you gave me the scoop on Creepshow. It's like I'm looking for these, kind of sci-fi, kind of suspense, supernatural, whatever, anthology books, and like they're all like, I actually just got Space Corps every issue. There's only 4 issues of that. That's an anthology. Well, at least number 0 was an anthology. I don't even know. I haven't read 1 through 4. That's coming. That's a totally different. That's for a whole nother show. But anyway, but Savage Tales, it's got 4 different stories in it, and one of them is a reprint. They reprinted from Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red. It's called Seeing Red. That's the 4th story in this. So this only has 3 original stories in it. They're all written by David Avallone. And it's got miscellaneous artists drawing them all. But these are all it's a mix of Dynamite properties. So Gulliver of Mars, I wasn't even familiar with Gulliver of Mars. Are you guys familiar with Gulliver of Mars?
No,
I don't think so.
Which seems odd that's because there's John Carter of Mars, of course. Which John Carter is the second. They don't actually call him John Carter of Mars. They call him, what do they call him, Pat?
John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Warlord of Mars. Yeah. But John Carter's the second story. So the first story is Gulliver of Mars, and and this is what else is frustrating with this being a 2025 winter special. Which there was a 2022 winter special, which I think was the last one. So it isn't even like the winter specials are going to be like an annual thing as well.
they're not special enough to come every year, just odd numbered years.
Well, even worse, Gulliver of Mars is a continuing story. Like he actually runs to Mars. He gets back to Mars. Apparently something happened that he did something nefarious that caused the downfall of the people of Mars, and he is revisiting Mars because he's in love with this lady on Mars. And when he gets there, he finds out it's all destroyed because of everything he did, and then he finds out she's the queen, and she's mad at him for destroying Mars. And then to be continued. I mean, it's like to when is it to be continued to? And then John Carter's a pretty simple story, in his world on Mars, he's the king now, and there's this plot to assassinate him or kidnap him, and then make him do the things they want by somebody, which we don't know. But they wrap up the story. The plot has failed. There's no to be continued there. And then again, this whole Nosferatu theme today, and I was only half joking with your pick 3 Nosferatu looking cover, Mike. That's creepy like this too. Then there's a Vampirella story in this, is the 3rd story. And here's another thing. I didn't actually get around to reading that Vampirella number 1, Mike. I don't know whether you still have it at Xcellar. I'd still like to grab it and read it one time, but this is literally the first Vampirella story I've ever read. Have you guys ever read a Vampirella? Are you familiar with Vampirella's powers and stuff?
No,
I might have asked you that before.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever read one of her comic books.
But she's basically like Blade, right? I mean, she's a vampire hunting vampire, right? Or she's a good guy vampire, I should say, like that, right?
Sure.
She uses her Okay, well, whether I don't know the history of Vampirella, but in this story, she's a good guy. There's actually a podcaster that pretends that there's scary things, but in her attempting to scare people, making a podcast or live stream, whatever video, she actually runs across real vampires, and then Vampirella comes out and saves the podcasters from vampires. And then, of course, she takes the footage and destroys it because they've seen her, so she doesn't want to be famous. So anyway, I guess Vampirella is like, that's why I said I compared her to Blade. She's like a vampire killer in this story. And then the Red Sonja, that's from Black, White, and Red. Pretty simple. Someone basically contracts Red Sonja to get this ruby that belonged to their family. Back in the day, supposedly she agrees to go get it for him, but then she finds out it actually never was them, and now they're the bad guys, and she has to fight them off. These are all, as you can tell. I mean, it has to be kind of in a book like this. This is 40 pages though. It's pretty fat. So all the stories aren't too crazy short, but they're pretty simple. And of the three original, I think I liked Vampirella the most. John Carter was decent. Gulliver of Mars was just not really that good, and just frustrating that it's a to be continued. So I'm gonna give this a forget it. Partially also because of, aside from the stories kind of being underwhelming, it's essentially just a one shot is the way I'm looking at it. A one shot that'll continue to another one shot someday. I mean, it's like, what? Just give me, like, again, like I said, heavy metal. Just give me an anthology of books that'll continue in each other, like that. That'd be cool. But this cover's obviously awesome. Who did this cover? I don't even know. Do you know who did this cover, Mike? This was the one you actually showed too, right?
Yeah, I don't recall. I don't recall who.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I love it. So that's the biggest. Well, I grabbed it for multiple reasons, but definitely how awesome the cover was. Incidentally, there's no this is another thing. There's no story in the book that I can place with this scene. I mean, I don't know why I've got he's seeming to just decapitate a gorilla. I don't know. That didn't happen in the book. This cover didn't happen in the book, so I don't know. Anyway, so that's it with Savage Tales. And then we talk about Spawn today.
Real quick before we go on, Arthur Soydum.
Yeah.
Oh, Pat was getting it. Yeah.
That was my guess. Looks like his work.
Hey, there's a Linsner cover.
Shocker.
Yeah, well, that's why when you said that about the thumbs in the back, it is really nice. There's some real risque ones on there too, but they're all really good. They're all really good. I liked all the thumbs for this as well.
I was gonna say, like, is this one? Does this have a logo specific where it says number one, where the other ones might say Winter Special or something like that, or are they all Savage Tales number one to confuse you?
Yeah, they're all listed as Savage Tale number ones. Well, I only and I say all loosely because I only saw the two.
Yeah,
this one and then, but why? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And I actually thought someone just screwed up the CLZ app because that happens sometimes, But I verified other sources. Yeah, it's the Winter Special. It's 2025 Winter Special. It's like, okay, whatever. So yeah, forget it unless you just want a great cover or covers. And most of the other covers are all Vampirella anyway. So, and I didn't even know Vampirella would be in this until I read it. But I was pleasantly surprised. Like I said, that was my favorite story from the book. But so then anyway, I got around to reading the newest Spawn, continuing my journey of keeping up with all the Spawns. And if you guys remember, Of course, this is a script by Todd McFarlane, Art Brett Booth, and a bunch of other credits. This is a Jeff Monk cover, which is pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But anyway, if you guys recall what continuing on of what's currently happening with Spawn dealing with vampires that are trying to take over the earth. Vampire. This is a vampire episode. But his name's Blood, is the leader of the vampires, or vampirical. I don't think they actually call them vampires, but vampirical type creatures. And Blood is spelled Bludd, but I think that's definitely a play on that. Anyway, Spawn died 2 issues ago. And then in the last issue, he was resurrected by the Queen of Hell because she needs Spawn to have, she needs Spawn to be alive to take out, to conclude her nefarious plans to rule heaven and take out God. So in her resurrection of Spawn, he is resurrected with his powers because prior to him dying, and the reason he died is because he didn't have his powers anymore. Because he had to give up his powers to seal the dead zones, or this was before I started tracking with the new series. But like I said, the last issue was just him being resurrected and then fighting. Then the Queen of Hell, of course, is like, you're going to do my bidding now, and Spawn's like, not, and the issue is basically him fighting her. But then, incidentally, whenever she resurrected him, he not only got his powers, but all of the Spawn and they're like all over the earth, all got their powers back. This was something right before I started reading, apparently, too. Not only he lost his powers, every Spawn lost their powers. They all lost their powers on the entire earth. So they're bitter at Spawn. So as soon as the Queen brings Spawn back and all of them get their powers back, the first thing that happens after he beats the Queen, which happened in last issue, is all of the Spawn come back to Spawn to be like, hey, dude, you're a jerk. You know what we've been going through without our powers, especially with vampires running all over the earth. This has been tough. We hate you. You need to join us and listen to us, or we're going to kill you right now. And what do you think Spawn's answer to that was, Mike?
Jog on.
Yeah, jog on. Exactly. I think he might have actually said jog on. I should have interiors too. He said jog on. But anyway, no. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. So then, of course, there's a battle between a bunch of Spawn and their ilk, including Curse of Spawn is in this. The big 3-horned kind of Hulk. It looks like a Hulk Spawn. I forget his name right now. But then Mandarin Spawn is in this, who I didn't even know Mandarin Spawn was good. I thought Mandarin Spawn was bad, but that's a whole other a long time ago part. But Mandarin Spawn is gathering spawns to beat Blood, and she had a bunch of them with. Well, I say she, but I guess it's a he. I kind of spoiled a little bit. It's actually a she, but I assumed it was a he the whole time I'm reading it. I'm assuming it's a he. He's controlling all the other Spawn, and they're all fighting, our favorite Spawn. It's very confusing to talk about, isn't it? But anyway, Spawn actually gets the best of them and unmasks Mandarin Spawn, and it ends up to be no one other than his wife.
Get out. I'm just looking up Spawn now.
What?
I'm just looking up what the character looks like.
Mandarin Spawn?
Yeah. So Wanda?
Yeah. There you go. Wanda. And I don't think Wanda is Mandarin Spawn. I think for some reason, because he unmasks her right after he beats her. So, got some background noise going on. I don't think she's always been Mandarin Spawn. I don't know, though. I got a lot of Spawn catching up to do.
Yeah, you got some work to do.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the final panel of the book where he discovers that Mandarin spawns Wanda. So we'll see, man. That's a cliffhanger. It's like, what the heck? So basically it was awesome. It was great art, great storytelling. I was enjoying the battling. And it's so crazy since I've been back to reading Spawn, I think what they're doing a great job about is telling a lot about a very small portion of time in each book. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like each book since I've been reading is maybe an hour's worth of time if you were really calculating the time, you know? But obviously they tell it over an entire book, which they're doing it well. So once again, a must have for Spawn fans, but still, I get it. Even if you ain't a Spawn fan, these stories are good, in my opinion. So go ahead and grab Spawn 362.
You know, when the NAM was published, each issue represented 1 month in Vietnam. Todd's he's like, I'm going to continue breaking records, so I need each issue of Spawn to be 1 hour of real time. So he's got 2 years as a day.
Yep. Did you see the announcement that they're raising the price?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I shared that with you guys.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So sad days, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
He went a long time at $2.99.
he went a real long time. Yeah. So,
and at least he's going to $3.99. Everybody else is at $4.99. Ridiculous.
Are even the A covers are for DC are $4.99 now? I thought the A covers were $3.99. The B covers are $4.99.
No, they're $4.99. The B covers are $5.99.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What happened to, like, in the old days when we were growing up and collecting comics, where they raised by a nickel or 10 cents?
Right. Yeah, that's how you got all the random costs, because they'd raise it minimally every time they'd raise it, but
jumps by $1 every time.
Yeah. I mean, when X-Men went from 75 cents to $1, I was like, how am I going to afford this?
Right.
I can't afford 75 cents on my income, which was lunch money.
Yep.
So
that was shocking back in the, I remember those days. You know, you didn't know this was coming, you know, and I remember, like, I think it was probably the 60 cent is what I'm remembering sticking in my head. You know, it was 50 cents. And I went to this shop in Ohio, I think Boardman, Ohio, and the spinner rack was full of the new comics and they were 60 cents. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah.
I don't have that many extra dimes. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, how much of it do you think is actual? Again, Richard Dreyfuss let it right. I want to know. I want to know the numbers. I need the numbers on this. Okay, how much profit you making per book? Because maybe that's part of the problem. Since they aren't selling as much, they have to raise profit per book to justify in their own mind, to, you know, that they're going to continue even with sales dropping or whatever.
Yeah, and you got to look at, okay, what? Well, I think I know what came first. You've got to pay good creators a good wage. You know, if you're not willing to hit this pay scale here, then the good writers are going to go to Image. They're going to go self-publish, and then you're left with lesser quality, and then lesser quality, fewer sales drop off. You're making less money. Now you got to pay even less. It's like, when do you just get to the point where, you know, you and I get a call, or one of us get a call for, hey, you want to write this Marvel comic?
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, you know, I think that's one positive thing for technology. It's kind of like with, I mentioned recently with, you know, YouTube and Spotify and everything, just cutting the middleman out, you know. I'm sure it's got to get to that point where You could easily just print your own book at home and, market it and, like I think that's a good thing that's happening with technology. The need for the only people that had the ability to do it wanes regularly as technology advances, and this is something that you can have that are semi affordable in your own house, for example, or definitely for a small company, so the future, I've always said the future is bright.
Mhm.
We've talked about this a bunch of times where I think Pat and Johnny have said it the most. I think that if Marvel dies, comics dies. And I've always been like, no, that's not my opinion. Mike, right?
Yeah, right. That's your opinion.
You are right.
I kind of with Johnny. I think that Marvel's success or lack of success is what drives the industry.
I
Unfortunately,
understand the
so
idea behind it. Basically, all I'm saying is I just hope if anything would happen where Marvel Comics would give up hypothetically or whatever would happen, there's always something to fill that void, that kind of thing, so. I mean, right now we're talking about there's too much. Imagine there was only one company that put out 10 books every month. Imagine how easy that would be able to afford.
yeah, wouldn't keep the stores open.
I know. Yeah, those poor LCSs. Yeah.
Anyway, that's for a whole other show. I'm talking
That's,
about how
are you,
LCS are affected.
Karen, are you writing this down? Oh, Karen. Damn it. All right, great job, though. Anyway, let's move on to the terrific. Do you want to say it, Pat? The terrific.
Yeah, a terrific ending to two campaigns.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, we'll segue our Todd McFarlane Spawn talk into the horizon here. Not what I wanted to do.
I was gonna say what happened.
I'm done. I'm done with this. We said we talked about in previous shows that Todd has lost the DC license to making the action figure, so that's potentially maybe a reason he had to raise the cost of his comics, but maybe not.
Yeah.
But then this story came out this week. People that pre-ordered Supergirl, the Page Puncher Supergirl through Walmart, got an email saying the shipment of Supergirl, or primarily, or Supergirl shipment was hijacked and stolen.
What?
Yeah. So stay tuned. I don't know if they had a resolution to that situation or not, but
What, like in the ocean on the barge or what?
yeah, that you'd think that would be what would make more sense. But
Right.
it almost seemed like a truck had gone missing.
Dang, that's crazy.
But so the Page Puncher Supergirl, she may be the hot commodity if no one can get their hands on her through legal means. Maybe she literally fell off the back of the truck somewhere, and you can pick her up in the streets of New York. I don't know. I don't know. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll have a follow up. Maybe I won't. Just a weird story.
It is weird, but you got to think now that you're mentioning it, this kind of thing might happen more often than it's pointed out. I mean, it's you got to think maybe.
Yeah, it sort of harkens back to last year when the shipment of Marc-Andre Fleury bobbleheads was stolen.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they were having a bobblehead night for Marc-Andre Fleury coming back to Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden that shipment went missing. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a really good Page Puncher too. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, okay. Talk about some Kickstarter crowdfunding type things wrapping up. We've been following along with the Four Horsemen's Bather Dragon campaign, and it was, you always have that last minute push. It was doing well as we've been following along. Things were being unlocked as we went, but it ended up 100% fully funded on every aspect of its Kickstarters and add-ons.
That's awesome.
The last show we had talked about, we didn't know what Bathier's Fury was. It turned out it was another figure, which you can see down in the lower corner there. He's cool. He's still, I don't think he's as impressive as the upgraded Sir Benegar up above him there with the claw pieces and things like that. But his alternate heads are cool. Sort of that, that Roman style mask.
Yeah.
But everything unlocked with the basic dragon was unlocked. Everything with the fiery breath was unlocked, and everything with the epic wings was unlocked. And there you can sort of see, this is an old picture. This is, I think, from last show where they are at before they finally finished. So you can see where what they were trying to hit there. They had not reached the dragon levels fully unlocked, or the epic wings, but the dragon ended up at 4,962 orders.
Wow.
Fiery breath ended up at 4,035, and the epic wings ended up at 2,924.
Wow.
So it had a huge push at the end there. In fact, I saw one of their posts where I guess they were doing a live stream sort of telephony, trying to, push it in the last day. And there was people out there that were donating dragons, and I think they ended up giving away 3 dragons on the live stream.
That's awesome.
That was great.
That's the way you do it.
Obviously, we've talked about these guys. They have this niche following, but it's very dedicated. Obviously, the people that are buying this Mythic Legion's product and Four Horsemen's product in general is very into it and very behind them as a company. So it's cool to see, even if you're not backing it.
Well, I love that one thing. Did you share that with me and Mike personally, or the group, or was that on Xcellar Comics page?
I think maybe it was on the public page because I felt people might be following along with the campaign.
That was very cool. And I couldn't. I may be projecting my wants, but I felt like the way that was described and what they were talking about, it was like leading me to believe that maybe there's some kind of lore storytelling coming somehow. You know what I mean? Not only, physical products, but maybe some more of a story, because you said there's not a whole lot of lore. This is kind of just the products and you kind of make your lore, right? Isn't that what you said in the past?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you get the impression from that post you shared that maybe that they're trying to give a lore for people to follow? No?
Yeah, it seems like the logical thing for them to do if they wanted to branch out and, try other avenues, that they could get some kind of, whether it's animated, live action seems out of reach for a toy company, but you never know these days. You get the right streaming service attached.
Yeah.
They see value in the property. Who knows? So,
yeah.
I think there's probably, there has to be some kind of loose story that everything's based on, so it all is cohesive.
Yeah.
Because you have to justify this character existing because of this. It can't be just like, well, that guy doesn't make sense. He doesn't fit everything else.
Well, you know why? The biggest reason I love these, Kickstarters and stuff being fully funded. I don't know if you guys' brains work like mine in this regard, but someday I'm just glad it's funded and now they're out there, because when I win the lottery, this is going to be something I'm going to grab.
Yeah.
But very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, even though if you weren't backing it, it's kind of neat to follow the journey and see it, everything unlocked, and it's just cool. And getting to the getting to the tariff aspect of things, and we're not going to get political here, but it's seemingly having an impact on toys. In the case of the Bayether campaign, they came out and said that they guarantee the promises are made that they will not charge anymore, regardless of what happens throughout production of this thing. So,
that's good.
That's obviously a good PR move by them. I
Yeah.
feel like probabilities here because it was such a overly successful campaign that they have a little bit of wiggle room, but who knows? I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. Hopefully the PR move doesn't bankrupt them, though.
Yeah, right.
Some of
Because
the numbers they're talking about are ridiculous.
yes. Because on the other hand, we have a tale of two crowdfunding projects here, because Longbox Heroes Wave 2 has been canceled. We had talked about on the last show some of the aspects of getting into and making these figures. The profit margins were so razor thin. In fact, they said that they lost money on the first campaign, but after the fact, they saw so much interest in it. People that didn't know that these were out there and they wish they would have backed the first wave. That gave them confidence for the second wave, and it gave them enough, confidence to proceed with wave 2. But again, they kept saying, that once they're paying the creators, and the creators weren't making much either. But the profit margins were so thin, and the uncertainty that's out there right now, they just thought it was best to cancel this for now. They're not saying that they'll never revisit this. But they were only 10 days into the campaign. They were a third of the way funded. So it looked promising, but they said the realities as of right now, and as we know from watching the news, it changes. It seems like every day.
Yeah.
That these $5 figures at the time of cancellation were projected to cost like $40. So it was just a no-go. They didn't feel they didn't feel a figure of this size and scale was worth $40 for what they were producing. So like they said, this is definitely something they're going to revisit, hopefully when things level out in the future. So
yeah,
hope to see you soon. Wave 2 of Longbox Heroes. It's disappointing. I had backed it for 4 of the figures, but also in my mind, $25 is sort of tough.
Yeah,
$40 is definitely a no-go.
Yeah.
So
even if you want to push 40, you definitely wouldn't be getting as many as you'd get. Yeah, right.
Yeah. One thing that seems to be continuing on, though, and we mentioned the first of them last show, was their Prestige line, the 6-inch line, and that they announced the Tick figure. And I think the same weekend, at the very last minute, it was Toylanta, where they announced the Tick. They also showed prototypes for the Rocketeer Prestige figure. Not only the Rocketeer, but the Black Phantom.
Oh, so cool.
The Onslaught Troopers, which were
nice,
which were also in the regular Longbox Heroes line, Wave 1. Just they're able to do it because they're variants. You obviously see the reuse of pieces and parts, but they are very cool looking. The Black Phantom itself, and then these guys as army builders. So these guys, they have the little tag up there under development, so no price or anything on there. The Tick is available for pre-orders currently. He's $40, so I imagine these would be the same. So we'll see. It also makes me think, I kind of maybe I should rather have them as these 6-inch deluxe figures. They're the sort of the more, obviously these are the more popular characters. They mentioned that the Tick was a big seller for the 4-inch line, and the Rocketeer was the number 1 seller and the most sought after figure, third party or second party, or what I want to say here, second hand, after they had initially gone out and demanding the biggest prices out there on eBay. So kind of makes sense, and it's like, man, I kind of, if they stuck to the main characters, maybe I'd rather just support the Prestige line, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
there was a Hasbro fan stream. This is a Marvel Legends fan stream where they announced some new figures, and I thought most of these were pretty cool looking. Some sort of reuse here. It's another She-Hulk. They just put a She-Hulk out in the Iron Man line, I think a year and a half ago. This is like the Fantastic Four variant coming on the retro card. She comes with an alternate head. Figure is already a good figure. You know, if you want to collect it, her as the Fantastic Four version, there you go. A Walmart exclusive. They were doing the Gamerverse Spider-Man. This is the Peter Parker Velocity suit. You know, I'm not real big on these, but if you're a big fan of the Gamerverse, maybe that's something for you.
Right.
Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire, black suit Spider-Man.
Now, is that a mask or a head? A separate head, right?
It's a head. Yeah, it's a swappable head. Yeah.
Man, I have a love-hate relationship for Spider-Man 3, and one of the things I hate is Toby when he is like that. You know, when he becomes evil Toby, whatever. Not only the whole concept of the story and everything, just the way he looks, just bugs the heck out of me. So I hate this figure.
Yeah. I heard
it would never have the Toby head on it.
Yeah. I heard people. There's people I think opposite of you, Kevin, because people were wishing that they would just do Toby in his, his whatever you call his outfit,
suit or whatever. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's obviously a popular thing in the meme, but it's always every time I see it, it's like, no.
Yeah,
although there's that one meme where that little kid was dancing like him. That's so hilarious. But what were you gonna say, that?
Yeah, you think that's probably what these people want that figure for, is the figure posing people to recreate meme type situations with.
Yeah.
We have two more from the retro X-Men line. These have all been Target exclusive recently. We have Mystique, got the David Nakayama artwork going on there, and we have Weapon X.
How all right, let's bring Rivals into the conversation, okay? Mike, I know you've been dying to talk about Rivals real quick. First of all, I wanted to mention this. You talked about how Mr. Fantastic ended up beating Gamora with a big fist or whatever, right? Or no, Godzilla originally with the big fist, right?
Yes.
That's Mr. Fantastic's ultimate in Rivals, which is hilarious. And Mr. Fantastic's my new favorite DPS fighter in Rivals, by the way. He's so fun. But how many Wolverine skins do we need to get into, Mike, in Marvel Rivals before we get a Weapon X skin? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, right? It should have been one of the early ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's arguable that we're still early, but there's like 3 now. It's like, come on. Give me a Weapon X skin. That's what I'm looking for. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there's red, there's yellow and blue, there's the brown, and then there's Weapon X. That's the order. What other ones are in there?
The first one's him just in his it's him without a mask and he's just in a suit. I think that's the base one, right? Which one were you annoyed by, right, Pat? Which one?
Oh, I think he had like a weird jacket or something, like a puffy jacket or maybe.
Yeah. And then they did a Van Helsing type, the whole theme of jeez, here we are with vampires again. The whole theme of season 1.5 was a vampires taking over New York. And so they had like a Van Helsing skin for Wolverine, which
it's Van Helsing.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's cool looking. They're fine, but it's just, yeah. Where's my beige Wolverine, and where's my Weapon X? I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, all right. Just wanted to shoehorn Rivals in there. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, we were running out of time. We needed to get the Rivals talk in at some point.
Yeah.
We have an Amazon 2-pack of villains. We have Madame Mask and Crossbones. That is $60, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't have it written down. It's an Amazon exclusive though, so look out for that. There they are out of the box. You can see everything they come with. I think it's a pretty good set. I don't have a Crossbones, and I really like Crossbones.
Yeah.
And then to tie into the movie, they revealed Thunderbolts 2-packs. Here you can see them all 4 together with their pairs. If these, I don't. These are probably digital prototypes, but man, they look really good.
Yeah, if that's that looks perfect. Jeez. Yeah.
Especially the first 2 here. Look at that.
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't know. Final product, we'll see, but they're nailing it in these digital renders, but hopefully they'll translate. This one I'm not so sure about. US Agent.
I think it's pretty good. I'm totally seeing him under that mask. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was the big spoiler, I guess, because he's not in the trailers except for Shadows, and that's Sentry. So
yeah, I didn't see. I've read a lot. Everybody's mentioning him being in it, but I didn't see anything with him.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how he's going to look. That looks good. Looks good. Who's the actor?
I don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool though.
Yeah. So yeah, the 2-packs. And this, I guess this was their biggest showcase for the fan stream. Whether it's hit with the fans, I don't know. It's the second in their Maximum series line, and that is the Hulk. So he comes with 3 heads, and they called out the artists for all 3 heads. They said the one in the body there, they're calling that the Dale Keown head. And then if you go right to the right there, the top one, they're saying that's the Ed McGuinness head, and below that is the Mike Deodato Jr. head. I can see it, but I don't think they're nailing in them 100%. If you'll notice the upper torso of the Hulk, the biggest thing that non-normal Marvel Legends wise here is that upper torso piece is a flexible piece. So he's able to do things like this.
Where else did I see it? Is this a new innovation?
I'm trying to think.
I saw something recently where they were highlighting that as a thing now, to where basically the torso is so malleable that you could get them into really funky. And I didn't know if it was new or not.
Yeah, we talk about the Hanyo, the Hot Toys sort of subline, the Hanyo line with like the Wolverines where they the skin, the skeleton underneath is totally encapsulated by this rubbery type material.
Right.
But that's sort of a different thing than this. Sort of different but the same. This is a single. The only piece that it is made up of that is that upper torso, and it sort of, I think, just goes over like a inner workings.
Right.
You could see them on the live stream manipulating it, which is sort of satisfying because it has like a clicky, crunchy type.
Right. Yeah.
But you can also see the gaps a lot of the times. Even standing there, you can see it. You can
kind of see it over his right shoulder there a little bit.
Yeah. So it's it's one of those things. People were already sort of deriding the Maximum series line as overpriced and not that much different from what we already have. It's still the same 6-inch scale. They're just adding extra articulation, extra parts, pieces, and in this case, what they're calling the innovation in the upper torso, where you can have them do the thunderclap move. So he is Spider-Man was, I think, $50. He was $49.99. Hulk is $60. He's $59.99. So it's only $10 more for a bigger figure, but still sort of turning off some of the Marvel Legends collectors who think that most of their basic, normal line figures are just good enough. No need to spend the extra money. So we'll see. We'll see where the Maximum series line goes from here. Speaking of Hot Toys, just a couple quick hits for them. This is an exclusive. This is a Hot Toys exclusive, and I don't know how readily available it's going to be in the US. And these are all Star Wars, but I'm going to do 3 Star Wars Hot Toys. That's Episode 3 Darth Vader.
No.
He has, Kevin, he has wool hair implantation.
Okay, let me restate. I don't like it. but I can appreciate it's good. I don't like it though. You know what he looks like, Pat?
What?
He looks like a vampire. Yeah, and actually, if I'm just going to critique the quality, his face coloring's not quite right. It's something I felt. Was it more pale or more? I can't. I thinking of all the shots you saw of him like that. He was. This is kind of more gray hued. I feel like he was just more pale. What do you think?
I can see where you're coming from because I think I sort of agree with you. I think it was probably due to them doing the makeup for his eyes, and his hair seemed to get a little darker, and it made his skin tone a little different. But yeah, maybe they're trying to balance that out a little bit better on the actual figure. I don't know, but who knows?
I guarantee Max would love this and he'd want it, but I'm not an evil Anakin fan from the get go. So I can appreciate this is good though. I mean it's quality, that's for sure. Yeah.
We'll do them in chronological order. Timeline was, and they're basing this from the Andor show season 2 premiering this month on Disney Plus.
Excited for that.
That's K2SO.
Oh man, he's awesome.
He is. I didn't have a price because of the exclusivity of the Darth Vader. No price on him, but K2SO is $265. And
he looks the same though. I mean, why is this Andor 2?
This is just I don't know. I don't know how their licenses work. You'll see what I'm talking about with the next one, because this is K2SO is based on Andor, not Rogue One, but yet we have Cassian Andor, and this is supposed to be from Rogue One, not Andor, and he is $275. So yeah,
man, that looks so good though. Jeez, oh man, it's incredible. It's incredible what they do. That's for sure. We've said it a million times.
Yeah,
it's perfect. Yeah, they should have had K2. It's so funny. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. And to finish
that's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's awesome because I don't know anything about Andor 2 yet. I'm just excited about it because I loved Andor so much. But I guess we're getting he's getting the K2SO meeting team up thing. That's awesome.
That's what appears. After I watched the latest Daredevil this week, I watched the season 1 recap of Cassian Andor, and I'm like, holy crap, a lot happened in this series, in the first series.
Yeah.
They had a lot to go through. And it's not the greatest recap in my opinion. It's so bang, 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 bang. And it's like, holy cow, it's like,
yeah.
I forgot some of the things that happened. It's like so many different varied locations. They went so many different ways in that first season. It's like you didn't remember all of it. So,
which is one of the reasons that made it so awesome. It was just so crazy. Yeah. Where you thought you were going to get from the beginning to end, they got much further than I thought they were. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was like, just a series, and it turned into like a prison series, and prison drama series, and it turned into a heist series.
right.
All over, but it all worked well in my opinion. So
yeah, me too. Yeah.
Getting ready for season 2. I'm anxiously awaiting that.
Yeah, and K2SO is he might be my favorite droid of all droids. Yeah. He's awesome. He's great.
Yep.
Or she? He, she, I don't know. Is that ever clear?
I don't know. Ask Lando. He was
right. He's the gender expert with droids.
Right.
Anyway.
We'll stick with metal to finish off the Horizon this week. And we talked about, if you haven't tuned in to the new show we're doing called The Whole Other Show, the first premiere episode was all about Val Kilmer. And we're going to do some steelbooks, starting out with Tombstone. It's getting a 4K steelbook. Nice. This comes out the April the 22nd. Sold out a lot of places already. As with all steelbooks these days, prices swinging wildly from store to store. I saw it as low, quote unquote low, as 40, and as high as 56. So Who knows? When it comes to steelbooks these days. But I like this one. I mean, it's sort of a postery looking steelbook for the front, but
Yeah.
yeah, I still like it.
Yeah.
Next one coming out May 27th is John Carpenter's Starman.
What? That's awesome.
I like this one. I like the red. I like the interior.
Yeah.
The back cover's kind of weak, but it's all right.
It's kind of a cool idea.
I like it. Yeah, out the window. I think
Through the window, seeing them land. Yeah.
This is one of the movies I've been wanting to rewatch recently, and I just never get around to it. And I don't believe I have this on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. So if I could snag this on 4K for a decent price, I'd go for this one, especially because I like the steelbook itself. It just looks cool.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I love it so much. Yeah.
It's also
forever either, but I definitely watched it a lot of times back in the day.
Yeah, it's also in that same range as Tombstone. I think they're possibly being released by the same company, same studio, and it's I saw it 42 to 56, so I don't know. This one is coming out May 13th, and I think this is the weakest looking steelbook I'm going to show you this go around, and that is for Captain America: Brave New World.
Well, I definitely like the inside. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Back simple but cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too bad.
Yeah, I'm not digging the front cover. They're really leaning into the actors.
Yeah.
Rather than the characters.
And the characters. And I would have rather actually. A lot of people seem to not love the sort of the homage movie poster where Red Hulk's punching Cap's shield. But I thought that was a pretty decent. I thought that would have made for a good cover for this steelbook. I don't have a price for that one. I'm not sure why. I thought that was up for pre-order already. It might not be. Disney seems to be the worst offender for steelbooks these days. Their prices are just way out of whack.
Did they announce when this is going to stream yet?
I think they did. I didn't happen to write that down or pay too much attention to it, but I think they may have. Did I tell you I saw this? Valor and I went and saw this in the theater.
Oh no, you didn't. So what's the verdict?
I liked it. Didn't love it. A lot of the things I thought were spoiled for me did not happen. So that's kind of good. I mean, maybe it's you see that these false stories come out and you half see them or don't want to see them, and
you don't know what you can trust or what you can trust.
Right. So at least two things did not happen that I'm glad didn't happen. That were actually sort of surprising.
Interesting.
In a weird way.
Yeah. I could see that. So what do you got? Do you got a 10? You got a 1 out of 10?
Oh boy. Maybe like a 7.
Okay. That's not bad. Yeah.
It seemed like it got really bad press, bad reviews. But I don't think it was a bad movie. It just didn't live up. We need to get back to the heights we used to be at. You know what I mean? It's hard to get back there. I'm keeping my rocky fingers crossed for Fantastic Four in a few months.
I'm the same way. Not so much with Fantastic Four for me, but Doomsday. I'm hoping that's, like you said, gets us back to the grandness that we were. Yeah.
Right. And the final steelbook and to wrap up this week is a movie that I didn't see in the theaters, but my son saw in the theaters. And that is Minecraft, a Minecraft movie. Release date to be determined, Looks like it's hovering around the $38, $35 mark. So
Those are pretty cool. This is getting a lot of decent hype, it seems. Well, it's getting kind of two different types of hype. The movie's good hype, but since the movie is so great, it's getting bad hype that there's all kinds of craziness that keeps happening, right? That's surrounding it, right?
yeah, I tend to think that craziness is overhyped in only certain places. It certainly didn't happen in Butler, Pennsylvania here. So.
It did. Okay.
Yeah, Cora and her friend went and saw it last weekend, and they didn't have any issues. There was cheering at the chicken jockey thing. There was cheering, but nobody threw their popcorn or
brought a live chicken.
Yeah, none of that crazy business.
Did you get positive reviews from all the children? Both of you?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. It was fun. I didn't want any details on it, so I'm gonna actually check it out when it comes out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
But the one thing that Cora did say was she kind of had a problem with Jack Black as Steve. She loves Jack Black as an actor. She's like, but when I saw him up there, I didn't see Jack Black as Steve. I saw Jack Black as Jack Black.
Yeah.
But other than that, they enjoyed it.
Yeah, you get what you get with Jack Black. He doesn't have a range. He doesn't have much of a range.
Yeah. This is who he is.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's it. That wraps up the horizon for this week, everybody.
All right. That was awesome. Thank you so much for doing so much hard work.
That's a
to
lot.
Find all this awesomeness we didn't know we wanted. And I love when there's an overflow of what to watch and these cool things that are coming out with the watching. So I'm totally excited for Minecraft and Captain America both. So
I might get I don't get steel books. I like them, but it's like, man, I can't go down that path. That Starman one was really, really nice, and I don't have that on DVD or Blu-ray. So,
yeah, actually, are the only steelbooks that come out now are 4K? They're 4K combo with Blu-ray.
No, but one thing to touch on there, Kevin, is it seems like the trend for steelbooks is currently to not even include the Blu-ray, unfortunately. So.
Oh man, see, yeah, I haven't even made that full transition to 4K yet, let alone.
Yeah. Well, the new Xbox can play it, right?
But you got to have a 4K TV as well.
All right, fine. Emily keeps saying we need to get a new TV because ours keeps acting up. It's only 6 years old.
TVs are crazy now to me. I mean, like, I feel like I've had this TV for like 15 years. I might not be exaggerating. It's fine. I don't swallow, but at least TVs are cheaper now. I guess that's a thing. So, all right.
Cora still watches my $1,200 TV I bought around 2009 or 10. I could have bought a snowblower because we lived up on a mountain. Like, I can buy a snowblower for $1,200 or I can buy a TV. I figured, you know what? I'm just going to get the TV and I'll sit inside, watch TV while it snows outside.
Hey, apparently Tyler's checking us out. He actually commented, sorry I didn't put this up at the appropriate time, Tyler, but and Tyler's chiming in on the Hot Toys. Evil Anakin, so Darth Vader? Yeah, exactly. That's actually an annoying thing when you hear that about. Do you feel the same way with that, Pat? It's not Evil Anakin. It's Darth Vader. He's Darth Vader at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wasn't that labeled Darth Vader though?
Yes.
Huh?
That was labeled Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Oh, why is he saying Evil Anakin? Who did you say Evil Anakin? Then?
Maybe somebody referred to him as Anakin. Kevin, you might have said, "Oh, Evil Anakin, I don't like him."
Oh.
And
so he was maybe calling me out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even notice. I was too focused on not liking his face to even notice what it was labeled. But yeah, it might have been me. I think it was actually. Yeah,
I don't like Evil Anakin.
Well, see, I'm influenced now. I'm just saying that I've definitely heard people refer to him as that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, not Darth Vader when he's just because he doesn't have his armor on yet. He's still Darth Vader. But obviously, I was duped so much and influenced to where, sorry, Tyler, I called him evil Anakin. Yeah, sorry about that.
I'm going to call him evil Anakin from now on, even when he's Darth Vader.
Even when he's armored up, you're going to call him evil Anakin?
Yeah.
Nice. Just make sure you do it a whole lot when Tyler's around. That's the key.
I'm only going to do it when Tyler's around.
Right. All right, let's get into some wrap-up time here. All right, awesome, Mike. What do you got?
All right. Well, before I even open this, I'm going to say that now's the time if you want an Edward Delandre commission, the Spawn artist. Hit him up now. It might even be too late. I don't know. Hit him up now because I think we all think he's going to get some future work based on that Spawn cover that he did.
Yeah.
We all like it a lot.
Yeah.
All right, I have this awesome little Spider-Man Funko Pop mystery minis. So we've got what? Spidey, Miles, it's $20.99. Different Venoms, Spider-Gwen. Collect them all. I figured that Lexi was our Spider-Man
Gatherer.
fan, so this will be down at Xcellar for Lexi.
Okay, cool.
And for me, I would prefer. I don't even know half of these characters' names.
Is Chasm on there? I'll take Chasm.
Yeah, Chasm. Yeah, actually,
I'll take him if nobody wants him.
Oh, it's glow in the dark. There are 2 glow in the darks. Okay, so if it's anything but that one, Lexi can have it.
If it's Chasm, I'll pick another one up for Lexi.
All right. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a deal. I can get behind that. All right. Easy open. And it is. Oh, Tyler's gonna be jealous. Oh no, it's not. It's not Venom. It's just Black Spider-Man.
It's Black Spider-Man. Yeah, that's.
Well, that's an awesome one too. I like that.
Yeah,
one.
and
So
that's
they-
actually Lexi's favorite. But do you not want to give it to her now that it's your favorite too?
No, Lexi can have it. The only deal was if it was Chasm, I'd trade Patrick
Okay.
for another unopened one. It would probably be Chasm too. That'd be funny. So there you go.
Evil Peter Parker. Easy for me.
Yeah, there you go. Evil Peter Parker there.
Peter Parker.
So that'll be for Lexi. And yeah,
That is awesome.
I'm dipping back into the well. I got Adorables, Star Wars Adorables, Series 2. My recap would be you'd think that the comic based on the animated Hanna-Barbera show would be more childlike and simple than a Godzilla versus Fantastic Four book, but that is definitely not the case this week. See my reviews of Herculoids #1 and 2 and Godzilla versus the Fantastic Four one shot.
Nice. I just wanted to comment that I don't know exactly what's going on, but apparently vampires are supreme in the world again because I'm not sure if we didn't have a segment that at least mentioned vampires, and I think most segments today did it multiple times. And I'm not selling vampires. That wasn't particularly my gig, but apparently it's a thing that we didn't even realize are heavy-handed in all of what we like now. You know.
Yeah. To add to that is, I think vampires were mentioned more than rivals.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Hey, I'm glad you pointed that out though too, because just a last minute Rivals plug. So season 2 just started Friday, and the new character that they released with season 2 is Emma Frost, and I hate her.
Because she's really good, or
Yes, yeah, she's annoying, but no, she's really cool. She has, in my opinion, the best animation with her ultimate.
Mhm.
You know how when they do the psychic kind of push thing and it's got like the squares that kind of come out and they kind of grow as they kind of turn, they're like, do you know that animation I'm talking about? No, your face is meaning no. But anyway, she shoots out this animation of uh, larger and larger squares that entrance you and suck you to her as they're damaging you. It's so cool. It's so cool. It'll basically take you out of full fighting mode and just make you get into this. Okay, I'll listen to whatever you say as you walk to her because she's gorgeous too, of course. So see what you got, Pat.
Oh,
Sorry.
remember, there's 4 of these. Geez, what's his name? He's the leader of the Bad Batch.
Oh yeah, Rambo. Yeah, right. No, I forget his name. Tyler, what's his name? I always call him Rambo though. He looks totally like Rambo to me.
I think that's Fennec Shand right there, right?
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Number 9 is a First Order Stormtrooper.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of boring. And number 14, Mace Windu.
Awesome. Man, I gotta buy those. You get those at Walmart, you said, Mike or Pat?
Yeah, I got them on clearance at Walmart. I saw it somewhere. I can't remember where I was at, but Series 3 is out now. They just keep pumping them out.
Hey, speaking of Rivals, have you seen the Rivals Star Wars minis game? It's called Rivals 2. Star Wars Rivals.
Yeah, I got a pack on clearance, but I never opened it. I just got it because of the figures.
Yeah, they're awesome. The game's okay, but yeah, that's the biggest reason I want them all too, because the figures are so cool and they look really similar to these Durables figures. But Series 2 of that just came out like within the last 6 months as well.
Okay.
I always grab at least 2 of the starter packs and then at least 2 of the mystery boxes as well. They're fun. Well, I definitely would like to have all those again if money was unlimited.
Yeah.
And I'll call myself out since you guys are obviously being very nice. I don't have an open. I'm really sorry. I really am sorry. I really am.
I found that I just buy 2 at a time now. I get one, and then it's like, man,
it's so crazy that I actually had a couple options, but I usually go to Target every day because it's right by my PO box where I pick up my bills or my payments, and I go in there like every day. So I always like put it off. But then due to things, I didn't go on Thursday or Friday at all.
Right.
And that did me in, So
yep. Just like me shipping that book up to Rich Woodall.
right. But there are a couple cool ones there. All right, looks like we got some more comments. Yeah. Tyler's booing your First Order Stormtrooper, I assume. Yeah. Yep. Which are on a trooper scale of best to worst, Pat, where do the First Order troopers land for you?
I actually kind of like them. Sorry, Tyler.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they were sort of like a cool modern twist, but not. You can't beat the original ones,
Yeah. I actually don't like them either. I'd say they're the worst. I don't hate them though, but I'd say they rank the lowest as far as troopers I like. I did like the the one that Finn ended up fighting at the end of that special kind of First Order trooper. He wasn't just regular. And so anyway, and then he's like, nice Mace. Yeah, that was a nice Mace figure. And then I'm not sure what he's referring to with Despicable. Did you open a Despicable toy? Did you get a Despicable
No,
toy?
he's probably talking about evil Anakin. How it would be despicable of me to refer to him as evil Anakin. Only around time.
That might be true. He's bringing him hard in the past. The Sith troopers from First Order are actually sick. The Sith trooper from the First Order. The Sith troopers from the First Order?
I don't know, like the red Praetorian Guard type guys, or we're talking troopers here. I don't know.
Yeah, Despicable. I'm despicable. Okay, it was me. I'm despicable because I don't have one to open.
Oh, yeah, I agree with
That
that.
makes sense. Yeah.
That is true. I'm
Go
letting
right,
Ty
drop
down
right
left
down
and
to
right.
despicable.
I'm letting Ty down left and right today.
Mhm.
Evil Anakin and no opening. Sorry, Ty. Sorry. I'll do better next show. But that'll do it for this one. So let's see if we can wrap this up without Karen. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications. Please follow Xcellar Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and follow Xcellar_comics on TikTok. Then please check out what we have to offer on eBay at Xcellar_comics as well. And then watch our shows on the Whatnot app. Man, I don't know. This is my third apology in a row now. I'm going to apologize. I still haven't had a Whatnot show. I have big plans. Big plans. But I'm just going to say it now. My next show probably won't be until May 1st. Because, it's just too crazy of a time for me. I don't even work Saturdays, but I've been working Saturdays. That's how busy I am right now. And it's just, it's not only time consuming, but it's exhausting. So not only do I not have the setup time, then I don't have the energy to even re-show the ones I had set up for the last show. Sorry for the excuses, but please follow us on the Whatnot app. Bookmark that show. It's definitely coming, and I've got big plans. And then in the meantime, you can help support the show and everything we do and plan to do through patreon.com at Xcellar Comics or / Xcellar Comics. Tyler's clarifying now. No, they're just red troopers, not the
Okay.
Praetorian Guards. Tyler, I thought you just said you liked the dumb Praetorian Guards. Didn't he just say that last show or two? Something like that, Pat?
I don't know.
Because I said he hated them. I thought he said he liked them or something. I don't know. Oh, no. It was he hates the Praetorian Guards, but I was calling them the Imperial... The Emperor's Royal Guard, and he's like, no, they're just Praetorian, something like that. There was some kind of clarification. Yeah, he hates them though. Yeah. So they're just red troopers that are just the same exact look, but red.
I think so. If I get an extra one, Tyler, I'll get my red Sharpie and I'll fix you up.
That'd be so awesome. I love customization like that.
Or wait till series 3 and they'll probably have one.
Yeah. All right, and then also we've got Cover Combat 11 Pick 3 edition about wrapping up. You can watch round 6, the finals, April 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those shows are live, and it's getting down to the nitty gritty. You can go to Facebook and vote on the final 4 covers right now. Right, Mike?
Yep.
And then lastly, join us for our next live stream, which will be the preview on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook this Saturday, the 19th at 8 a.m.-ish. We'd actually hope to start a little bit earlier for that one, but it'll be a previews, not our regular live stream, but that is our next live stream, is the preview. So check that out. Got one more comment, I think. Tyler saying one of their styles specifically is cool. Most of them look dumb. Okay, cool. On that note, he's talking about the Praetorian Guard, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I love that scene. That's like definitely the best part of that movie. I thought they looked good. No comment, Pat?
No, I like it too.
Okay. Mike?
Don't know. Don't remember it.
You don't remember when Rey and Kylo fought the Praetorian Guard together?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
You
cool.
remember now?
Yeah.
It was cool, right?
Yeah.
I think it was the best part of that movie.
I don't pay attention to names of things.
That's true. I don't pay attention to names of artists and writers. That's why you guys are better at it. That's what I'll remember all the names of things like this for you, Mike.
Right.
You just keep remembering. What was that guy that started with an L? You guys mentioned multiple times today.
Oh, Lisner.
Yeah,
Just-
Lindsay. Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
You know who he is, though, Kevin.
I know who he is. I couldn't point out a piece of artwork and be like, oh, that's Linsner.
You could.
Yeah, I think you
That's
could.
for
Too.
another show. We'll talk about things around the show.
Okay, make sure you write that down, Mike. But anyway, in the meantime, thanks for checking us out, everybody. Appreciate all the comments. And until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome. But reading a great story is also a lot of fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Xcellar out.